Okay, so today is the day of like short intros. See, even this game has a custom cursor. I won't get over how some of them don't. So I don't even remember how long this game has been out, but I've heard about it so many times over the years, but I never have played it. And not only have I never played this, but it's treating me like I'm in Britain, not the US, but just for English purposes. Not only have I not played this, but I've been known as a bit of a hater of Diablo or just dismissive of the series in general. Just the fact that, like, I'll try to rehash my criticism, but it'll make more sense once I get in the game. Kind of like the bird's eye view and the quantity over quality of enemy encounters and stuff like that. But yeah, I generally have avoided them, and it's kind of weird because, in fact, that's why you might question that, like, oh, that's my channel art, is Diablo doing the shush and you only have one life to live. It's my icon, you know. But it's because I avoided the series for that long in 2016 when I did my first playthrough also Permadeath series. That's exactly why I chose Diablo, because I avoided it for so long, because I'm a big fan of Blizzard and the Warcraft universe. So I played obviously Warcraft 3 a lot. I played WoW. I consider WoW one of the best games ever, especially in its original state. And so people kept telling me, oh, you should try Diablo, you should try StarCraft, which I still haven't. But yeah, so I used that as a bridge for the first playthrough Permadeath, which I failed that, and then I tried it again for my return affiliate celebration like last year. I forget when that was, like maybe in March or April or something. I played the original Diablo twice. I've never played part 2. I think I played a little bit of part 3. Part 4 is coming out apparently soon. I just saw that. Oh, I did play Diablo Immortal too. And I only failed that first playthrough Permadeath because I went AFK actually in some place that I thought was safe, but it wasn't. So the point is not just that I suck at them, but I deliberately avoided them, and so I use that as an opportunity to try it. Log in with Steam, hopefully. I don't have to make an account. I mean, presumably it's going to be in the same vein as those. Maybe I'm wrong for even making that comparison, but create new account. In order to log in with Steam, you must first create a Steam Path of Exile account. Linking an okay, I don't have an existing account.
Authority of the Templar, you are hereby exiled to the forsaken shores of Reklast. You have transgressed against God and consorted with sin. Find your redemption, exile, or die in the attempt.
I wonder if any of this is different than it originally was, because they've done all these expansions and stuff. So I don't know if this is how it originally introduced it, or certainly graphically it looks a lot better than it must have before. I guess you can't even, you kind of have to guess, like, okay, this is a hunter, this is a rogue, this is a warrior, this is a mage. I've almost been going against my inherent nature. Like, I was always known as a mage player in every game. I would always love mages, so now I've almost been doing the opposite when I was doing like my EverQuest thing or whatever. I keep choosing warriors just to counteract that. But normally I obviously love mages. I don't know what she's supposed to be. He's like, these four are pretty obvious. I'm actually not sure what these two are. Will it tell you what they are? Okay. Templar. So it'll be kind of like these Permadeath first playthroughs of MMOs. Where, I mean, oh, he's reading the whole thing.
When it's all you have left, you were once the chosen of God, a Templar. You are now the chosen of Reklast, an exile.
It's like I get one chance per each class. So if obviously I'm not going to die 6 times. I'm not even going to die once. But if I do, I have to switch classes, basically, is the point. League, what does that mean? Challenge leagues. These challenges, I'm not going to play any multiplayer stuff anyway. Hardcore, this is the default game mode. Sounds good to me. Ruthless, or wait, is this going to be even worse? Dare to enter the forbidden sanctum and uncover its treasures. This is the default Path of Exile League. Wait, but you can have like all 3 checked at once. Hardcore Sanctum. Dare to enter the forbidden sanctum and uncover its treasures. Character killed in hardcore becomes a standard character. How about they just get deleted automatically? I don't really understand. Ideal place to play in a fresh economy. You can compete in challenges and win prizes. I don't really understand. Character killed in hardcore becomes a standard character. Why does it let you check all 3 then? Whatever. Okay, so I don't know if I want to play as the mage or not. Let's just see what they all are. all the character introductions are just them talking shit about you and scolding you for all your sins. That'd be like a rogue, basically. This would be like a warrior, barbarian.
Savage enough to face the land of the damned, Marauder? We offered you truth, yet still you clasped your superstitious lies. We offered you service, yet you wasted your strength in defiance. Rayclast offers you something else. An education in true savagery.
It looks like that's what he's all about, so he's quite happy with that result.
You stole the bounty of others. A crow that plunders our crops. A stray dog that slaughters our sheep. Oriath is a land of men, not animals. Think on that, Ranger, when Rayclast shows you how to truly live like an animal.
That's a good line, actually. I don't know what these two are going to be. They almost look like they're a couple.
You were born to be swift and strong. What did you do with your gifts, duelist? You squandered them on self-indulgence. Sin has led you here, your path inked in the blood of gratuitous murder. You have betrayed the grand arena. Now Rayclast shall be your audience and your foe.
Okay. I guess you'd be a little more balanced of a, like some kind of hybrid between those two. I'm not sure what this is going to be.
The keen of mind seek to satiate their curiosity in darkness and depravity. Innocence is our father. Oriath is our mother. When a daughter strays from the light, she makes herself an orphan. Learn well the lessons that Rayclast will teach you, witch. It is your only hope of finding your way home.
He was at least nicer to the witch than anybody else. He's just saying just go there and die, or just let them be your captive audience. He's almost giving you hope that you can make your way home. So it says hardcore. I don't know what's worse. Is hardcore worse or ruthless worse? Ruthless Sanctum. Character killed here becomes a standard character. Maybe this is one thing I should actually... It doesn't matter. Like, hardcore is enough, I think. It's kind of confusing the way they phrase it. Dare to enter. This is the default path of Exile League. I assume maybe that's some multiplayer type stuff that I don't really have to worry about yet. I kind of want to play as the witch, actually. It'll be best of both worlds, where kind of like a magic user, but not strictly a mage. I guess that's fine. Or no, I should come up with like an RP name, not just my username. Let's see. I guess you have to be a female for that too. In fact, you might not even be able to change the character model. That would be kind of unusual though. Let's see. Let's just do that. Character with this name already exists. Yeah, no shit. Anya Taylor-Joy plays this in her spare time. Let's do, oh, that's all you had to do. Just add one letter. Activating a new waypoint is a way of saving your progress. Driftwood Wand. Very good visuals. There's no way it looked like this originally. Impossible.
The very sand shivers with malice. There's a power here that welcomes me.
Oh, it's going to be fully voice acted too? Probably not for every little thing, but... So now, we get to see the immediate display of why I have something against Diablo games in general. This is... Okay, how can I explain it? Because people didn't like... That's one of my most disliked videos ever, but I'm going to double down on the point. Maybe I just didn't explain it well enough. That must be it. The point is you get this top-down bird's-eye view. And the problem with it is... It's almost like it's an RTS game. So think about Warcraft 3. In Warcraft 3, there are hero units. Like you get Arthas or Archmage Antonidas or whatever. So it's like a hero unit, kind of like this character here that you would get in a Diablo game or whatever. But guess what? It's an RTS game where you control countless other units too. This is like an RTS game where you control one unit from the perspective of it, because you're looking at it from so far away. So that only caters to quantity over quality in enemy encounters, where you feel so separated from your character, and it's immersion breaking inherently, despite how good the combat and other mechanics might be. Now, a few counters people might say is, okay, you can zoom in, but then you can barely see, and it's not meant to be played like that, right? You kind of go in tunnel vision, and there's too much shit going around on the outside. So that goes against the natural instinct of the game. In fact, here is even less zoomed out than I guess I would be used to or I would expect. So that's number one. And the other rebuttal people would say is probably that, oh, there's classes like necromancers. Maybe this class will actually be like that. I wasn't thinking about that, where you can summon a whole bunch of stuff. So then it does simulate the idea of it being an RTS game, right? From that perspective. But the problem is not every class is going to do that, and you can't really use that one exception as an outlier to say that makes up for it, because then every other class doesn't work that way. Yeah, you're playing a single player RTS game in that perspective, which is objectively, I think, flawed. And coming from Blizzard, at least, using that as a benchmark, even like Warcraft 1 and 2, that's almost how they came up with, well, I don't know how many games like that there were before that, but just the top-down perspective. And yeah, all the combat, this is also a criticism of Borderlands and stuff, how, you know, it's just so much action, and every 5 enemies you kill, you're going to get a new item upgrade, so it makes it feel so... Talk to the Exile with left click. Yeah, no shit.
You and I, we're the only ones that made it to shore. Alive, anyway. Looks like you found something you can defend yourself with. Good. This place is crawling with criminals. There's smoke rising just east of here. Could be worth checking if there's...
Oh shit. Hungry corpse. Of course.
Soon rise for me, not against me.
Oh shit, we are gonna get to do it. I wasn't thinking about it in the context of a necromancer, but I guess it makes sense that the witch of all classes would have that. And when I even say that, it doesn't mean that the games are bad. It just means, like, you know, that was always my immersion thing. You gotta have an over-the-shoulder third-person perspective or a first-person one. So let's see, what can we do here? Some invisible wall there. I got some kind of fireball thing, but it didn't appear here. Move only. Let me see. Maybe in my inventory? Place the gem in the socket, which matches its color. Fireball projectile. 8% increased fire damage. Is now equipped in your skill bar. You have kind of fewer options here than I would have thought. Like 1 through 10. Perhaps. Go here. Can I just empty this? Move only. I guess you can't just make it blank, though. So what are these even going to be? Is it going to be like left click, right click, I assume? Always attack without moving. I guess I'll test it. Spirit beads, lapis amulet, lapis. I forget how you say that. Lapis lazuli is like some kind of gem. Order of Ecclesia taught me that, I think. In fact, Diablo Immortal was pretty fun too. I enjoyed the core gameplay of that. Okay, so right click isn't doing anything. I don't know what this button actually is. Okay, that's meant to be right. Oh, it must be middle mouse. I don't know if these are like actual players talking in chat or what. I guess I didn't look at any of the settings either. It's being a little stuttery, but you have taken damage. Use 1 to use a life flask. Yeah, it's obviously the pussy move out to do a permadeath with a ranged character. It makes it so much easier. Arcane Surge support. So I assume that'll just be the other slot. Many support gems change the mana cost of skills they are supporting. You have taken damage, press 1 to use a life flask. What if I want to save it for later? I don't know how many I'm going to get or when. I'll wait till I'm lower. I disagree with its advice. Yeah, that's also one problem. Although a lot of RPGs suffer from that, where if there's no cooldown on the potions, you can just spam them. Bark is dummy expensive. I kind of don't want to see this here, but how do you... whatever. I think they're working actually on Path of Exile 2. I somehow saw that when I was going to download this, but this has been out for a very long time. Ah, shit, my willingness to go in close like that is totally unfounded. You got to kind of test the limits of your range. We're also doing the old way of water technique again. Every game I play is always the safest bet. Just stay next to something where you know Nothing could, oh shit, nothing could come after you. Little mini boss type enemy. These games do have great replay value though, because it is so, the core gameplay can be so much just pure combat that all you need is just more enemies to fight and it never gets old.
I need more mana.
Yeah, I was even wondering about that. What, did I go out of range so he regenerated his health, but then he just gets it back? I should just try to kill him with the base hits alone. You just kite him forever. Pure mentality of a mage. Just don't let him get close enough, and he could have 10 times as much health and one-shot me, and it wouldn't matter. I'm getting a little bit too overconfident. Even that's my objective, to kill him, but why did he just full heal there? Gotta make sure you don't back yourself into a corner. I'm gonna end up aggroing more stuff. Ring around the rosy. Man, why is every game stuttery? Regardless of settings, regardless of anything, I should probably look at the... Or what, he just despawned because I go too far? Punishing me. Okay, that was kind of a jump scare moment. Yeah, why did he heal the first time? So we'll even be able to summon stuff. I swear I wasn't thinking about that when I chose it, but I do. That also addresses my criticism. Yeah, just play it like it's an RTS. You gained a skill point.
Dead woman by now.
Press P to use your skill point. Rusted Spike. Driftwood must be part of my set then. Driftwood Scepter. Damage 5 to 8, 6% critical strike chance, 10% increased elemental damage. Can I dual wield these? I guess not. Driftwood Wand. Scepter. This is a wand. I guess I'll just keep it. The one I have. Although it seems like I could use that if I really wanted to. This is going to allow me to put other... Oh, is this just going to be better? But it's not going to have the gems in unless you can take them out. I don't think it's really explained that to me if I can. It probably says it right there. Whatever. I'll leave it. Let me look at my skills. Holy shit. Now that... that's the way to introduce the depth the game might have. Holy fuck. Can we just... 14... Of course, I don't know whether pause actually works as a pause. It doesn't seem like it. This will be like one of those always online games, even if you're playing by yourself. Let's see. Requirements not met. So what have I met the requirements for? This is incredible, actually. This is them like totally trying to show off. This is no ordinary game here. What the fuck is this? There's no way it was like this either when it... You know, originally they must have added these throughout different expansions and stuff. How would you even know where you can put it? That doesn't help. Just open the whole menu. What is something that the requirements have been met for? Requirements not met. Requirements not met. It wouldn't tell you to do this if you couldn't do any of them. Like, where does it start? Hey, Fire, how's it going? Pretty good. How about you? Georphy's baptism. Can I pay 9 alteration? Why am I even in the chat? This is only the tutorial. I guess you're always just in like a world chat. It starts next to where the picture of the witch is. Requirements not met. Huh. Maybe it's a bug. Oh, okay. I was getting too enamored by how many options there were. I don't think I've ever seen that when a game first starts, at least. For them to overwhelm me like that. 16% spell damage. 16 to maximum mana. 14 to energy shield. 16 to mana. I guess I'll go with that. Apply points. Okay, cool. So we get... Oh, we can hide behind the shield. Good old Anthem and, you know... sci-fi shooter mentality. Whenever you have a shield, just hide behind cover and you're basically invincible. Oh, so we get the best of both worlds. Not only that, but the and that'd be different for every class too, I presume, which is insane to think about. Or maybe not. Maybe somehow, I guess it would have to be though. Like we get to hide behind the shield and we get to summon stuff apparently. This tree is shared by all classes. Your class just decides where you start on it. Okay, I see. Skip. I don't want to skip that, though. Kill Hillock, enemy at the gate. You have killed Hillock, the zombie attacking the town, and leveled up. Open the passive menu. Okay. Destructible environment stuff. It's just going to be that exact same style, though, like with constant looting. And not even constant looting, but constant upgrading and rendering trivial what you just looted 5 seconds ago. Which I guess, you know, the further you get in, the less often that happens, but it's especially annoying at the beginning. Borderlands is totally up that alley, too. At least that was a well-identifiable boss fight. That was sort of a joke I always made with these, is like, you would kill a boss and realize, oh wait, that was a boss? Because there's so much shit going on and just so many ads and enemies on the screen, you barely even notice the difference between a regular enemy and a boss. But they made him look much bigger and everything. Energy shield can be good, but it's not even close to immortality. Well, let's just wait to see how I use it. Because anytime I take anytime the shield's about to go, I'm just out of there. And of course, that's even more corresponding with a dying during PvP will not remove your character from Hardcore League. You know, you just run away and hide, which wouldn't work as well on a lot of these other classes. Although I guess you could get the, if the talents are shared, you could get that on anybody.
You have transgressed against your God and your fellow. Hillock of Slow. You have transgressed against your God and your fellow man. You have been a willing vessel for the following sins. Mortal wrath. 6 counts of common homicide. 1 count of infanticide. 2 counts of homicide with post-mortem desecration. Unlawful avarice. 12 counts of extortion through threat of mortal harm.
Let's do lawful avarice.
Armed larceny. 2 counts of armed larceny resulting in mortal harm.
Well, we already killed him.
Unsolicited lust. 4 counts of rape. 2 counts of attempted rape. Mortal wrath.
You already said mortal wrath.
Immortality. God has charged me with your redemption. You are hereby exiled to Reclast, where it is hoped you shall come to repent your sins and make your peace with your beloved Father.
Are these all going to be different ones?
Olin of Theopolis.
Oh, shit.
You have transgressed against your God and your fellow man. You have been a willing vessel for the following sins. Unlawful avarice. 1 count of petty theft.
Can you walk around? Oh, shit.
Civil envy. 1 count
Oh,
of
you can still hear it.
of an officer.
You're listening to the radio. Since this game is indeed about looting, you want to clear areas fast. Waiting for ES to recharge after each encounter will be very slow. There are also scenarios where you can't reasonably escape. Boss arenas of dangerous enemy mods being the main examples.
You are hereby exiled to Reclast, where it
Of course, they thought of everything.
repent your sins.
Talk to Tarkley for your reward. Waypoint. It is always interesting how they, like Torchlight even is like that, where they take like one setting. I guess they aren't all like that, maybe Diablo 2 and 3, but you'll go into the church and it's like, oh yeah, let's go kill some zombies and clear out this area. But then you just keep going and that's the whole game, is just the church. You just keep going down floor by floor. So Torchlight is like that, where you go into one place and it just never ends. The whole game is like one level with all these different subsections. It's pretty unique. Stash. Okay, all this stuff is familiar. Kind of want to sell most of this. I could presumably get some value out of the scepter, but it seems like they would start you with that, so you want to use this. Scroll of Wisdom identifies an item. Okay. Let me not put them in here at least.
A wayfish, waterlogged witch, washed up in raid closed. That's the first line of the poem I'm writing about you, Exile. Easy go. You could scorch a bloke with a look like that. The name's Bestel, captain of the good ship Merry Gull. At last, my Merry Gull is gone. My crew is gone. But my wits remain, after a fashion.
Yeah, what was that game where they said they literally have an infinite number of guns, or like billions of guns? It might have been Borderlands 3 or something. Like they have all these different combinations and stats that rotate so you never run out. PoE has an infinite dungeon side activity that's sort of similar to that. You can get incredibly fast sustain for life as well. Death comes equally fast. What is this tank? Oh, this is just a person. Shit. I don't even know what the max level is.
Work with Hillock. Where'd you learn to fight like that? No, forget I asked. We exiles have no history. Dominus took it from us when he had his blackguards dump us in the water out there. Here, got something for you. Should help you kill a few more of those undead bastards. Don't bother thanking me. The way I figure it, the longer we fighters live, the longer everyone lives.
Select a reward. Freezing. I guess I'll just get a wand. Or no, these are going to be all spells. Skill gems should be placed in the sockets of appropriate color to grant you skills. Right click on a gem. I guess I can just put them in this one instead. 5 to 9. Same thing. Icy projectile. Lob a fiery orb. We already have a fire spell. Channel the skill electrical energy. Raise a zombie. Apply a debuff to enemies in front of you and fire a projectile. Let's do the zombie one, I guess. Put it into... Oh, you can even put it into the axe and stuff. You have to put it in the corresponding color. Huh? What? Oh, I guess you can just switch them out maybe as much as you want. We switched that for which one? Each spell supported track Arcane Surge. Default attack.
That would just make life complicated.
Oh, it doesn't want you to do it in the town. 100 is max. Try to click the exclamation above each of these. Yeah, there's one here.
What you did to Hillock out there, witch? Your black art is the reason you're here, in exile. It may also be the only thing that allows you to see another dawn. I'm Nessa, and I suppose I should thank you for ridding us of that putrid giant. Back in Oriath, I judged your kind without hesitation. In Rayclast, I don't have that luxury.
Don't have the luxury to discriminate.
But it's ours.
Always forget what that's from, but I always quote that line.
But should you wish to venture out, do just one thing for me. Out on the coast, amongst the wrecks, there must be a ship's medicine chest. I have many to care for, and there's only so much I can do with herbs and seawater.
Everybody's so impressed by just killing that one thing. Purchase items, sell items. Yeah, I do kind of want to sell these. Your offer, your offer. These aren't going to be any good to me, I don't think. Although maybe you should keep one melee weapon. So what I kind of wanted to do was put it in there. Maybe you can only put it in what you already have equipped. Except, let's see. Why don't I try... I don't know whether the scepter is going to be any good for me or not. Oh, it did work now. It's the same color, isn't it? Whatever, I'll try that. I'm not even sure what this was. Arcane Surge. Spending a total of 15 mana up front. That's just like some passive thing, I suppose. Be prepared to read things carefully. Very specific in how things work and interact. It's quite possible to debuff yourself if you're not careful. There's an exclamation icon above the gem rewards. Should give you a demo of how it works. Welcome to the help panel. Skills, gems. Without support gem, with support gem. It'll give you little modifiers to abilities. All of your skills other than your default attack come from items called skill gems. Skill gems must be socketed into your equipped weapons and armor in order for you to be able to use the skill they grant. It doesn't matter which item the gem is socketed into, but the socket has to match the color of the gem. Red skill gems can go in red sockets, can't go in other ones. Support gems work very similarly to skill items, except they don't grant you a skill by themselves. Instead, support gems can augment the skills already linked to. For a support gem, I'll get all ones that just give me a stronger shield recharge. Why did these look so low resolution? Passive skill tree. Okay, we got one of those. Dual socket, everybody's patting us on the back for killing that one guy. Customer support, available 24 hours a day. Impressive for a free game. Notice board. Okay, this will be all multiplayer stuff, maybe 2 to 6 players. There's another one. That guy already we talked to, but now he has that exclamation point again.
There's an island, a hop, skip and a wade offshore of the terraces. That's where my merry gull ran aground. Watched the locals spit roast the ship's doctor, but his medicine chest might still be there, amongst the splinters and bones. It'd have everything Nessa might need. Dr. Shaky Hands Upton was lousy with a scalpel and even worse with a saw. But he knew his apothecary. Explains the shaky hands, if you ask me.
Support gems are extremely important. They only work if linked to a skill gem in the same item if the sockets have that gold link between them. At vendors, you can trade an iron ring, something.
I know that stench. Just like my sisters upon the pyre.
Oh, shit. Maybe I should lower something. I don't know why it would be having an issue. G-Force, blah, blah, blah. Maybe going full screen would solve that. It said windowed, but it wasn't. Or maybe it was windowed full screen. Default, maybe VSync is doing it. 240. Background FPS cap. High. Water detail, blah, blah, blah. Where does it even have the base? Just overall. Okay, so apparently if you turn off VSync, maybe it crashes, but now at least it should work. That's what we get for trying to abuse by summoning zombies and stuff too. This is exactly the kind of game where you could... Welcome back, thanks. Where you could die by AFKing. That is the whole haunting aspect of it. When you can't... I guess that wouldn't happen in the first couple Diablos because they weren't really always online, but Diablo Immortal is exactly like that. Okay, let me make sure it's working. Or maybe you shouldn't even tab out. Wait a second. I think that fixed the stutter, though, for the most part. Okay. Can you have multiple of these at once, I wonder? Raise a zombie, attack enemies in area effect? Probably not. At least not yet. Or if you had separate gems that did the same thing, if you can do that, then you can have as many as the gems of that kind you have. Yeah, that other socket I had, see now, it doesn't even matter if he dies. Although it is kind of scary how quickly those things come upon you. And then I keep walking towards them, which you should never do. Look how fast this guy is. Oh yeah, they're not going to get through my shield either. See, like now I would just wait. You can have 3 default. I don't even have another ability to put... Oh no, I guess I do. So that would be middle mouse. So I don't even have to worry about Q. Yeah, literally just play the game with only the mouse. Game could never possibly be good in that context. Meanwhile, Plants vs. Zombies Part 35 hard mode. One of the most epic series I've ever done. Scroll of Wisdom. Not even that you can play it with the mouse, but you have to. You can't even use like little hotkeys for all those stupid... You know, it almost seems like it's meant for that, but then they don't actually let you. So many of these same old driftwood items. Never let them get through the shield. Your skill gem can now be leveled up by clicking on the button here. Try to summon more zombies. Yeah, that is like your nightmare in this game if they chase you super fast. Like the way those crabs were doing. You always expect that you can just kite as much as you want. Click to level up. This is going to be the raised zombie and this is going to be the fireball. I'll do this one. Or I guess you can just do both. Oh, you can have one. Or maybe that's because I leveled it up. Raise a zombie from a corpse. Or you can just have as many as you want. Or you... Oh, you can have 3. Oh, I thought he was talking about the other buttons. Or I mean the sockets. Kind of don't even care about the objectives. I can just explore around. Get over leveled. How have I not hit level 3 yet? Huh. I guess it does take a while. Clearly not a recipe for getting yourself killed. Just let them tank for you. Even if they die, who cares? Just keep spamming it. Doesn't seem to be... Oh my god. Yeah, abilities like that are gonna ruin you. Seems like there were a lot of players too, just in this area alone. Check the blue text below when scrolled over the zombie skill. Raise zombies attack has 4% increased area of effect. Has 4% cooldown recovery rate. Maximum 3 raise zombies. Minions have 60 maximum life. 4% cooldown recovery rate. So I guess they don't run out automatically on their own ever. Only if they die. Gonna go into a level zone that I'm not meant to go to and just die from that. Actually, that's one thing you can't really tell. Although I would assume most stuff would scale to you, but like, the enemies don't really have levels. I was trying to kill the bird there. Let's see, how far away can you really do this? That's not too bad. Such a cheese way to do it. I mean, this would be the easiest proposition. Not only with a range class, but also being able to summon stuff. At least I didn't just go with the standard default mage, though, like I'm prone to do. So now the only way you get health back... Oh, shit. Only way you'd get health back is from the... I guess that does take a second to do. These crabs kind of scare me with the way they rush you. Either maybe the only way you get health back is by leveling up. I think it works like that sometimes in Diablo. In some of them. Or you just have to use potions, which I should have actually checked the shop for that exact purpose. In fact, maybe I should even go back. See. I guess actually the looting thing isn't as big of a occurrence so far as I thought. Nothing scales to you. Enemies are the level of the zone. You can see that on the top right if you press tab to open the overlay map. Monster level 2, Sanctum League, Washington DC US realm, the coast. So I guess it'll just be a fixed. So I wonder how much I could farm here if I was so inclined to do. Not that I'm much of a farmer. Shit. Getting too overconfident with the zombies there. Yeah, let me go back to town actually and see. Is she gonna have a voice line every single level that she ever levels up? I'm sure some of them will repeat. Let's see. You probably shouldn't do this out in the open though. Go back to town, try to buy some potions. I assume this would be, yeah, microtransaction shop. At least it's upfront about that. Or the Forbidden Sanctum. I mean, it's a little risky to do this only 2 potions, but the early game should be no threat. Famous last words. Potential. Last recharges, you kill enemies. You don't need to constantly restock them. Oh, these are just like always there. Right click to drink. Can only hold charges while in belt. Refills as you kill monsters, like an Estus flask. Forbidden Sanctum. And little did you know, you came in here and you never ever leave, or this will be every mission in the game just in this one portal. In search of the Sanctum, you have encountered strange portals in the wilderness of Ray class that lead to the unknown Sanctum. Search for more information about this place. It's probably not going to work like that at all, obviously, but energy shield and mana regeneration. Don't really care so much about damage. Of course, they'll scare you with their own noises there. Intelligence plus 10. I guess that's fine. Apply points. Oh, look at that. It's going to be almost as big as my health. That's exactly what I want to see. In fact, flasks are an important part of your gear. You craft more and improve them. Wait, this is just like a dead end. Oh, here. Chambers of Inscription contains minor treasure reward. Abandoned library. Contains Varakat the Waxen. Resolve 300 out of 300. Door Sanctum, room for a second later. I don't know if this was even what I was supposed to be doing for the mission, but I don't really care, I guess. Classic dungeon crawling experience is what these games are all about. Okay. I mean, you could be walking into something a little bit dangerous, but it's fine. Shambling Goliath. I don't know if that counts. That's probably just a random enemy. Not like a boss. Harrowed Wraith. Defeat all the guards. Travel to Tidal Island. Find the medicine chest. 276 out of 300 resolve. Gotta keep remembering to put the zombies back up. I just expect that they're as invincible as I am. Game has no pay to win, by the way. Only in-game advantage you can buy is more stat space back in town. Yeah, it must just be all cosmetics and stuff, I would assume. I can actually hit them from here. That's kind of something cheese. I'm pretty happy with the shield for all intents and purposes. Infernal Centennial. That almost seems like a boss type enemy. And of course the fire probably would not be particularly effective on this guy. The other mini boss guy healed for some reason, so maybe if you go too far out of range, they tend to do that. It's almost good if he spawned ads. That's why the necromancer type classes are even all the better in these kind of games than anything else, because there's always going to be corpses because there's just always so many enemies. Actually, that seems like it does an okay amount of damage to him. So you'd get cucked on boss fights if they don't have a ton of ads. Plate vest. Let me double check my inventory now. Just anything good to equip. Maybe a piece of armor. Doesn't really seem like you can dual wield anything, which would be obviously makes sense for a caster. 8 versus 16. Orbital alteration reforges a magic item with new random modifiers. Okay, I guess I have nothing to lose by putting it there. Or just try it to see what it is. Or wait, this isn't a traditional gem, is it? Orb of alteration. Right click and left click a magic item to apply it. Item is currently equipped. Let's just test it out. Target is not magic. Oh, it'll have to be like a... Okay. Hey, Sparky, thanks. Press Z to toggle the loot interactables being shown. Like all the one... Oh, yeah. I just step in the room, do the first room, and my inventory's already full. But I guess I was already planning to go back to the shop. That is kind of interesting that they make this like a flask situation. Or like in Torchlight, they have that dog where you can just keep sending it back to town all the time, so you never have to leave the dungeon. Torchlight was actually really good. And I got so obsessed with those mods that let you create like a whole bunch of custom classes and whatnot. In Sanctum, the resolve bar is your real HP bar. If it depletes, you lose the run and are kicked out. Oh. Huh. I don't know what exactly it's based on. Well, that shouldn't count as a death, though, at least. Or maybe it will. Then I don't get to play as this most cheese class of all. I almost thought that was my objective. Like I'm destroying their resolve by doing this so smoothly. That guy's not even interested in the fight. Another one of the rates. Yeah, I don't see why I'd be losing resolve. I'm barely taking even any damage. Although my shield went down in its base quality. It was like halfway. Since I upgraded it. I have some other stat point to put. Minion damage and life. Energy shield. I guess we can give the minions a little love here. I don't know why I'm even doing this. The coast. So that would just be back outside. Huh, I don't really get how the resolve thing works. Sanctum is very hard early game. It's much better when your build is fleshed out late game. Okay, let me just go back to town just for the sake of it. To try to even figure out how to get back there. Most of this stuff is just junk that I want to sell anyway. Maybe they do have a mechanic like that too. Customers report, why is that flashing all the time though? Well, there must be some new entry. Monsters throughout won't just hurt you, they can also inflict ailments. Fortunately, you can too. Chill, freeze, bleeding, shock, ignite, poison. You take chaos damage while poisoned. The damage is based on the source of the poison. Multiple poisons can stack. It's so easy to just, you know, wander around and get caught up in fighting stuff. I don't know why my shield shrank down like that. It was half of the thing. That's kind of weird. Let me see. How do you do your skill thing again? Plus 25%, plus 16% to maximum energy shield. Whatever, it's still good enough. What made you check it out? Well, kind of like today is the day that I play games that I never got around to. So it's just kind of something. Well, how did they drain my shield that fast that I wanted to try? Oh shit, I don't even have any things to summon right now. It tends to always be like an online game too, because if it's a single player game, then I wouldn't even care because it's not going to go anywhere. But you never know with games like this. Like, oh, they might make Path of Exile 2 and then this game will shut down and I'll never get a chance to try it. This is kind of a tough situation to be in. Wait for the shield to come back. Enemies do have pretty good mobility so far, more than I'd expect. Look at that shit, dude. Almost feels like a PvP encounter. This is where ads are actually helpful, though, because you gotta raise something back to have a chance here. Distract her a little bit. I mean, you could do this all day, but it's just... Gotta rely on your shield. Yeah, imagine if you didn't have the shield here. There'd be nothing you could ever do. I'm hitting Q. One of these should be coming back, or maybe for some reason these ones can't be raised. So she's not gonna heal, and I am. So that's... Oh, I did actually spawn one at least. Yeah, see, they have a taunt built in, it seems like, too. Jesus Christ. At least you can keep spamming the flask. I guess I don't really think about them like that. Jesus Christ, dude. Here, I'll just do it. That's why it was telling me to use it so flippantly, too. And it looks like Nito for a second there. First impressions, it's pretty good. Definitely visually better than I thought it would be. But yeah, the gameplay is probably going to be similar. And actually, the skill tree is so complicated. You're kind of showing off how you have like a million abilities to choose from right from the start. Although I guess that's shared between the classes and whatnot, but still, look at this. Level this up. I guess there's no reason not to. You can't really level the same one up twice, I guess. Yeah, let's actually try to do the objective just for the sake of it. I could do this all day. Just wandering around killing these same enemies. And if they're all going to be level 2, I guess it won't really get me too far. Trying to over level, power level, like a degenerate on top of everything else. Oh, does this regenerate like a flask too? Refills as you kill monsters. Wow, what a cheese exploitable mechanic that could be, though. Kill monsters. We're never doing that. There's not nearly enough of them. I don't know what exactly the... I should actually test that. Like, how many do you have to kill to actually recharge it? But then it couldn't heal you for a fixed damage value. It must be, or it must just scale up as long as you. Currently has 21 charges. Consumes 7 of 21 on use. Hug the coastline. Let's see what this is. Waypoint. The mud flats. You can remove a skill. Strength, weakness, plenty of choices. The different biome area here. Hard not to think of those zombies as enemies at times. It's just, especially when you run away, as you're always constantly kiting stuff. Because then they'll chase you in the same robotic way. Used to play hardcore. Yeah, and it's going to be permadeath too anyway. If I die, I have to re-roll the class at least. Hardcore just means you go back to like a standard character or something, which wouldn't matter because I would just delete the character anyway. I always love that though. It's like if it's an always online game, then your internet crashes and you die because of that. Imagine after hundreds of hours of gameplay. While on your phone carrier goes down in like a Diablo Immortal or whatever. Is this actually where I was supposed to go? I don't even know. It seems like it. That's gonna be a little mini boss guy. They do a little better job of showing that things actually are bosses. Okay, this could be trouble. Tremendous mobility on enemies. I will give it to them there. Here, let's just do these whenever I feel like. So that still has like maybe 2 charges. Shit. That's where I'm trying to move, but it gets me with the fact that I'm trying to attack it. Where would I be without the shield? Because most of these games don't have that, or at least not at the very beginning that you get something. Just see if there's something that's actually going to be an upgrade. I'll just toss some of the stuff I can't use. I'm too lazy to go back to the shop. Let's see, what was it? Vine Circlet. That is not better than mine. I've had the game crash on me twice this league. Was it during like a high stakes moment? You can press Z to toggle what's on the ground, yeah. Try to raise a couple of these. Yeah, you may as well just spam the potions whenever you have them. It goes against my normal instinct of trying to preserve them, or at least stock up on them. Like even here out of combat, I'll do it. But then by that logic, you should always have them all up, just so that you can never get killed by some contingency. This raid class will serve. You can't really do any character model customization, I guess. It's just always the base models, but obviously you'll be defined by whatever gear you're wearing. Watch the shield, watch the shield. Yeah, why did it shrink inside there? That was so weird. Or I must have had some temporary buff that made it even better. You just level up without realizing it. You loot stuff without realizing it. You can kill a boss without realizing it. It's just such a frenetic pace. Rusted Spike. Rusted Sword. 27 armor. Seems like heavy armor that a witch maybe wouldn't normally be able to use. Orb of Augmentation. Augments random magical item. That's how GGG makes money. People get bored looking like an NPC, so they buy glowy things, rainbow footprints, etc. Which is fine, I guess. I mean, they have to make money somehow. Yeah, what's with, are they making a Path of Exile 2? I think I heard. Maybe that's why I thought of doing this right now. Just like, I feel like they're going to shut down the first game because they're making a sequel. At least I think I heard that somewhere. this whole format of me playing like one day a week, just random games that I normally never play, or that I've never played before, is predicated because like I think basically Spellbreak made me paranoid that like, oh shit, I always wanted to play Spellbreak and I never got around to it, and then it just shut down in December. So I felt like I had to. So anytime a game's about to get delisted that I have interest in, I don't think this is going anywhere. It's just, you know, a good excuse to try it. It's better than they degenerate pay-to-win models. Okay, wait for the shield. It comes back super quick, too. Not really paying attention to my mana that much, but you almost don't even have to worry about it with respect to the... If I die, it would be in that animation as I'm summoning something, one of the zombies. Because it doesn't take too long, but it's just that little bit could get you killed. Game is a gambling simulator, so I assume everyone is an addict.
Too much clutter.
Yeah, too much clutter. You're describing the game as a whole. Look at them. Self-awareness. Holy shit, dude. Okay, let's wait for our mana, or I guess I don't even have to. I could top myself off with that. I assume those are just going to get stronger, or maybe you have to upgrade them manually yourself. What is this? Sanctum Archives. Isn't this the thing that I was just doing? Or, wait. This is just some optional thing, I think, that maybe I shouldn't even worry about. I hate gambling. I typically sell all my keys and stack decks for pure money. Oh, is there like real money transactions in this game? Like a real money auction house or something? They're having Exile Con sometimes in June, August, not sure, but they'll announce PoE 2 then. Cool. Roa, Mare of Flames.
Too much clutter.
She's worried about the clutter at a time like this. Regular Monica over here. There's always this backpedaling pace that you gotta master. Kiting. Even if you're not a ranged user, you tend to have to do that too, just because you have to space yourself out. Like, how would you be doing this as a melee class? I guess you'd just be way tankier and stuff, but you'd have to go in and... or I guess you'd be one-shotting stuff. Yeah, I'm almost curious to see. It's just so much more unfair, because you're going to be taking damage no matter what, but then you're going to just have to face tank everything too. Or like a lot of your abilities would be... melee is in a rough spot. You'd have like some kind of cleave that knocks everything back and stuff. Yeah, I should grab a couple of those corpses. I keep forgetting. Hopefully they're still there. Be so cool if it was like, it brings back specifically what you actually killed, and then it'll fight kind of the same way that they normally do. Yeah, I need a shield potion too. One that just refills that on command. You really don't have to worry about the potions at all, though. As long as you don't spam them too much like a degenerate.
Clutter.
Oh, wait. I thought it only had 3 charges. It has 6 charges. 6, 12, 18, 24. 4, wait, it has 4. 4. You can use it 4 times, and this you can use 3 times. Has that, they're called scepters. Range is superior in PoE for 90% of classes. Just buy the tab, man. The game is free. Invest 20 bucks per season and call it a good time. Yeah, another skill point. Let's try to up our shield again, or something to do with the summoned minions. Don't care about intelligence. 4% attack speed, base. Energy shield recovery. Plus 10% again. So is that going to make it look bigger and then it'll randomly shrink? Because that's what happened last time. There must be something that's hurting my permanent shield value. Like I have to go rest in a bed to restore its base value. That is weird. Or maybe if they destroy it completely one time, that actually happens until you level up or something. I don't know how they would really relegate that. Rosius glyph. Its pleasing sheen remains even in shadow, as if it were somehow lit from within. What level am I? I'm like level 4 probably. 4 or 5. I'm just gonna totally die while looking in some menu or something, or reading flavor text. That would be the way to go, or by going AFK, but I probably shouldn't have to anytime. 6% energy shield recovery again. Wait, I just leveled up like 5 seconds ago. What is it again? I am level... Wait, how do you even see it? Or I guess you could just count by the thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So level 6. Is that Sanctum thing that I just went into? I'll just explore the whole map before even doing this first quest. Because why does it matter? But no, let me actually try to do it. So M opens up the microtransactions, not the map, of course. So right now, I'm here. The mudflats... Oh, I had to go down south. From here, I think. So I'm here. Maybe it's this thing that segues into it. There are a lot of loading screens between all these little sections. Yeah. So all the potions should be almost fully maxed out. That's like short on one charge. 21, 21, 20. Oh no. Looks like something a little missing at the top. Always nice if you go into a room and there's already corpses there, if you could raise that, but I guess that one doesn't count. I don't like how I always go in first, but I don't know if you can really command the zombies to... They do a pretty good job of drawing aggro, though. You just run away and they automatically switch to them. Has their health value gone up, like, just on its own? Or, yeah, have 79 life. Find the medicine chest, which I assume is in this area, too. End your email with, "By Christ, Wolson be praised." Oh, these are going to be... Wait, these almost seem like they're all boss-type enemies, because that's what that glow means, right? Savage Crab of Rhyme. Or just that, like, they're elites. Jesus Christ. Yeah, play the Obra Dinn first before you see these things, and you'll get PTSD with the way that... Not because it's any threat to you, but because of how long it took me to figure out that. What exactly did he die to? Did he get poisoned by the crab? Did he get spiked by the crab? I didn't even like Papers, Please that much. The same guy made it, but that was so good. The greatest pirate game ever doesn't involve looting or plundering or anything. It literally involves being a coroner and walking around its ship the whole time. Scroll of Wisdom. Let's see if we have any other upgrades. I guess they're good at alerting you to stuff, too. Even if you're not paying attention. Scroll of Wisdom. Eight is not better. 18 is slightly better. Some of these are just going to be cloned names and stuff too. Fish Scale Gauntlets 11. Going to be better than mine. Doesn't really seem like there's an armor restriction on the class. Like you can only wear cloth gear because you're just a witch. Gotta just remember to spam the potions because there's no downside of doing it. And you should be able to raise these anyway. Okay, he's doing a pretty good job with that. I almost need a mobility move myself with how crazy some of these enemies' mobility has been. Just like, get me out of there quickly. Little teleport. I do like all these hazards because they make it more intuitive than just random stuff happening and you just kind of face roll through. It does, you know, kind of like the MMO design, just of there always being hazards around. Don't stand in the fire, this and that. Mercy mission. Travel to the mud flats. Travel to the Lion's Eye Watch. Haven't really gotten any new spell opportunities. It's going to come only from the sockets, I guess. I don't think I'm getting any abilities from all these points I'm putting in.
Much clutter.
They're all like... There must be a lot of passives to fill up this much space, or you'll get one every once in a while. Like, let's try to look for an activatable one. 20%, because passives are always fun, but you can certainly understand them, having them when there's so many here. It's like in Skyrim, you go through a whole tree, but then the final thing for like blocking was you combine two existing inputs to create a new one. Like sprinting with the shield raised causes you to knock over enemies. So I thought that was such a cool way of doing it, but there's still way too many passive perks in that. Just increase damage by 20% and this and that. Instead of like actual more abilities.
Too much clutter.
Gonna be hearing that one a lot. I feel like most people play something like this just for multiplayer type stuff, whether it's like doing a raid together or something, or a PvP. The mud flats were in that direction, I think. I don't even know what Lion's Eye Watch was. I'll keep doing that to try to get to the map. Yeah, what is Lion's Eye Watch? I don't think I've been there, at least. Exclamation point there. I don't know if that means it's a quest NPC, or the quest givers will just follow you to where you're going anyway, instead of you having to go back to find them. So I haven't even bothered with the shop once. I was going to go back for potions, but you apparently don't need that, or maybe you can't even do that, because if they are going to be flasks, then they'll just completely control it. That is one way to... That's what Dark Souls did, or why they did what they did with the Estus Flask, is it's a way to make difficulty... Either you got to give them a cooldown, or you have to control how many healing items somebody's going to have. Otherwise, they could just spam them forever. Scare Mask. See if that's any good. Wait, what? 18, energy shield 6. Evasion rating. When you get your gem rewards for quests, you select one skill gem to get for free, but then you can buy the others from the shop. Coral amulet. I should just throw a lot of the stuff that I'm clearly not going to use. Evasion rating 39. Yeah, these guys actually never go away on their own. Just only if you let them get killed. Which it doesn't feel like it's happening super often. And presumably you can't raise their own corpses as corpses, because that would be just too OP. Gale Vest. Okay, where was the other exclamation mark here? I love how much I'm just a total abuser of other people buying microtransactions in every game. Like, I never buy them myself, so all these games wouldn't exist if everybody was like me. Hearthstone is one of my favorite games ever. All these different things, NBA 2K even, although that you still have to pay for. But even as much as I played games like that, I never ever buy anything in them. I guess I made an exception with Hearthstone recently, but that's the primary early use for the shop. I certainly don't really feel the need to do anything like that. The way that I normally would keep going back to town like crazy every 5 seconds. Or send my dog to do it. That was kind of an interesting choice for Torchlight. It's always interesting to see how the combat's going to develop. Because this can be fun in and of itself. You just have to keep coming up with interesting enemy types. The fetid pool. Kill all the monsters in the fetid pool. Every single one. As if that's not what we normally do everywhere we go anyway. Without the need for it to ask us. That is the whole purpose of our existence. Just so we can bring them back. The game becomes a stash management nightmare in the late game without stash tabs. You can do all the content without spending a dime. Don't get me wrong. Somebody was complaining about it in the world chat just now, actually. Just buy the stash thing. It's only this and that. Bone Roa. Oh, I'm out of mana. I always wonder why I can't raise those. You may as well just use it all the way. Although I don't know if I necessarily need to use it that much just to... The witch is face tanking a guy, hitting her with a sword. On hardcore, I guess hardcore doesn't maybe make it more difficult. It just makes it more punishing if you die or fail or whatever, which kind of for me is a moot point. Let's make sure we have 3. I do kind of have trouble keeping track of them because they look so similar to the enemies, at least some of the time. And we already got some of these charges back. The potions are so abusable because you're never not going to be killing swarms and swarms of enemies. Okay, these are like a little bit harder. I guess it doesn't mean that they're bosses or part of a boss encounter. It just means that they're like elite or whatever. Extra life. Stash tabs are a huge quality of life upgrade. See, they're not really posing much of a threat. Maybe famous last words moment, but they can't even get to me. You could kite these all day. Whereas if I was a melee class, I might actually be in a little bit of trouble. That's how Dark Souls is too. Like, almost every boss is tuned to make it challenging for a melee class, but meanwhile, you can just dodge something and then shoot them from a distance instead of having to double commit. Like, you have to dodge and then you have to hit them and then still not get hit while you go in for the hit and commit to that. You can greed as much as you want from a range because the act of you hitting them doesn't let them hit you because you're already too far away. Dread Mauler the Wicked. Of course, now it becomes a little bit harder maybe to summon those. Oh, I'm assuming that... Oh, that's kind of a cool mechanic. The shield's going to block. And so they'll introduce a whole bunch of mechanics like that, and then they'll keep reusing them for, you know, some of the randomly generated bosses and whatnot later. Because that is what these games can do. Not only can they have like infinite variety as far as items that you keep getting, they keep getting better and scaling up with varying effects, but also they can do that with just the enemy types and the bosses themselves. Just combine 2 existing mechanics. Guy wasn't even that tough compared to a lot of the other ones. And people are typically happy to do it by the time they finish the campaign, because new players take 60 to 100 hours to finish Act 10. And by then, players commonly say, yeah, I've already spent 100 hours, I can drop 20. Yeah, that makes sense. Probably take me a lot longer than that, because I just tend to really take my time, but... That's why you can't play MMOs anymore, because I don't want to rush through them, but I also don't have all the time in the world to do that anymore. Is that going to be a boss too? Cadverus the Defiler. Yeah, this is kind of a tricky spot when they just hard chase you like this. Gotta make sure you don't back yourself into a wall. There have been some pretty good enemy types so far. I wonder how different this beginning experience is really from when the game first came out. It might be very different. Or maybe it's the exact same and they just added more acts and later content for the higher levels and stuff. I almost prefer when they do that. Like you can still go through 1 to 60 or, you know, the base experience and it's exactly the same. It's just that they added more expansions and whatnot. Once you get to max level, it's no longer max level. Then it still renders the endgame content redundant, but that's pretty par for the course with... How are you not dead? Driftwood Maul. They're obsessed with this Driftwood archetype. Jade Hatchet. I keep forgetting to do that. Kill all the monsters. Still even more. Seems much faster then, but I guess even a second when you're under threat feels like an eternity. It's actually kind of easy, but I did pick maybe a cheese class. I'm almost curious. I almost want to make a melee class just to see how shitty and quickly I would die by comparison. It's very different. Best part, and I like how entertaining this chat is actually. They just... It doesn't even say what it's in. Like, is it in world chat? Is it in local chat? They couldn't be local chat with this much going on. Yeah, that'll be my reason for dying. I'll get so distracted by that. Is this game playable on phone? It almost feels like it would be pretty fun to do. Play it on the way to work or something. Still more. Of course, I don't even have to do this. Of course, I don't have to do anything at all, even. So this is what keeps making the... Like, I'm committing so much to these gems. So now what if I just replace the gem? Does that mean all that's going to go down the drain? That seems like a bit of a waste then. Global chat. Not that these are even bad abilities, but there's probably going to be 1,000 of those type of things. There's probably some hive that keeps... Oh, I didn't even kill this guy when we saw him before because I got so scared I just ran away. Too many ads. Okay, raise that sucker. It feels like I can't raise a lot of these. There might be certain things that can't be. Wait for the shield. I do want some kind of mobility move. Give me a little whirlwind sprint. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this is what happened last time too. It'd be like an Anthem moment where it's not that you're going to die. It's just that you're not going to be able to fight the boss because there's too much shit chasing you. And then by the time you reset, they're just going to have spawned that many more. Yeah, that's good at least. Tank it a little bit. That being said, leveling up gems when you are overleveled is easy. Oh yeah, I bet you could just grind it back up. Like leveling a hunter pet in WoW. Like you just level, you get to 60 as quickly as possible and you don't really even care what your pet is, and then you got to grind up the one that you really want for raiding or something. He has a shield too, and it's probably going to keep coming back if I don't. Jesus Christ. And he just stays back. He doesn't let me do anything. Fuck. This is actually an interesting encounter because it's like you're not really at risk of dying as much. It's just, well, maybe a little bit. It's just hard to get a good, consistent series of hits in. Okay. Now that's pretty cheese because you just walk in there and you're getting fucked. I guess you could summon a few zombies and go in there with them. Let's just wait to get these back. I don't know if they actually do that, where they'll travel in already spawned. They probably should, actually. Like that. I'm usually a fan of magic using classes, but not necessarily ones that have pets. So it is a bit of a... Look at how quickly... I can't even see what's going on, dude. Not taking a chance dying to that dumb shit. That is kind of cheese, how they just wait by the exit. I guess I just won't do that right now. Yeah, nothing should attack me here. Is exactly what I thought when I died in Diablo Immortal. The last game like this that I played. Plus 10 at maximum shield, so I'm just obsessed with the shield, which is very good. Apply. Explore the mud flats. Travel to Lion's Eye Watch. Maybe you just have to wait a certain amount of time and then they'll reset. Leather cap might be an upgrade. Let's see. 21. 18. Energy shield 6 though. I'm so obsessed with the shield, I'll just keep it. I don't know why it keeps changing to like different amounts of size over the... Because it was like even more than that earlier. So why... Oh, I guess maybe my health value keeps changing as I level up. That must be why.
Too much clutter.
I keep doing that for the map. Yeah, let's see if it reset by now. This shows you how many of those guys you have. Yeah, can you actually turn off alcohol? Makes you do stupid shit though. But I guess that depends on the person. Drinking at home is severely underrated. And if you control yourself, just don't get drunk in public. Where was it? I think it was up here. Strange glyph wall. Find the glyphs in the nest. This wall seems to require 3 strangely shaped objects. You can't seem to go into the water there. Alcohol makes me feel social. Kind of lame to be drunk alone. That's like an opposite interpretation thing, like where it'll make some people more social and some people less. So it's really just more a reflection of the person themselves. But people always want to blame something else. Oh, the alcohol made me do it. Well, just don't drink that. Oh, but I'm addicted. But then just don't get addicted. I don't really have oh, shit. I don't have any potions either. Yeah, speaking of gambling addiction, we got from gambling to alcohol. That's one thing I should do before I go in there at least, is have my potions up. I don't even have to do it. It just feels kind of like... That guy was really tough because he kept just standing there and summoning shit. Little taste of my own medicine. We have to go to the find the glyphs in the Rowan nests. Oh, presumably that might just be here. I haven't read any of the quest text either, but you can kind of just figure it out. You have found the medicine, breaking some eggs. In order to unlock the cave entrance, you must find all 3 glyphs. They can be found in the Rowan nest in the mud flats, which is where I am. Kill the necromancer and all his minions in the fetid pool. You have killed Hillock, received a reward. Global chat making the case for solitary drinking. What is this one? Sanctum archives I don't need to worry about. I can't believe they just sit there by the entrance. I'm gonna go in there one of these times and actually just die. The Rowan nests in the mud flats. Isn't that kind of just what I did though? Let's see if I notice them. You need 3 of them to be able to unlock that.
Too much clutter.
Puzzle solving in a bird's eye view game. Rawhide gloves, blah blah. Maybe I should just go back. Maybe that'll help it reset too. Or let's use a scroll for the first time. And then the cool thing with these is they're usually 2-way, where you can just go back right to where you were, which is very important in Diablo and Torchlight because you're going through like 100 floors of the same thing. the same place, so you would have to manually just walk down every single floor otherwise. And of course, you'll get a ton of respawns and stuff. Let's see. This guy was the shop, right? Or no?
I'd almost stopped believing in miracles. This medicine chest, it's greater than the serums themselves it holds. It tells us that we can do more in Ray class than merely suffer. I've not much to offer in return, but please, take something in thanks for what you've done.
This is Quicksilver, Flash, Glass. Oh, these will be like meaningful upgrades then if they're going to replace these, or it'll go in 3 and 4. Right click to drink can only hold charges while in belt. It does 150 life, consumes 8 charges. 8, that doesn't really add up though. 8, 16, 24, 70 mana over 3.5 seconds. I don't feel like mana's really been the issue. Consumes last 6 seconds, 30 of 60 charges, 40. Oh, I was even talking about the mobility thing. I will accept that. Yeah, I'm good with that. Select one reward. Elemental proliferation support. Hold, fire, lightning support AoE. Supports any skill that hits enemies or could otherwise apply ailments. Supports any skills that affect area of effect. Supports any skill, channeling skill, protecting you from damage while you channel it. That sounds like my kind of style. Supports any skill that hits enemies. Wow, that's really... Wow, you're never going to do that. Supports skills that can't hit enemies or create minions. Although that's kind of my style too. When you kill enemies or hit rare or unique enemies, they will have a chance to summon a Phantasm minion. So this will stack on top of what I already have. So can I just put this in anything? I forget how that works. Or did I not even get it because I didn't complete the interaction? Or no, maybe I just did it. Summon Phantasm support. Yeah, that'll help me deal with this fetid pool guy. The final boss of the whole game over here. Travel to the mud flats. And then we all... How many times are we going to do that? Okay, so we have an extra potion even. Let's test to see what it looks like. So how are the charges work? You can do it twice. And it has... Why does it have 30? Oh, because you're killing enemies. I wonder if it's one charge per enemy that you kill. Okay, so it has 36. 37. Okay, that's easy enough to figure out. You can do it twice in a row. So I should always have one charge in reserve. That'll give me the mobility that I was so desperately craving. This area I don't really have to. That's what can be annoying too sometimes, is just dealing with respawns. But then again, you can just warp ahead.
At his beck, the greatest war host in Kardui history tamed the wild sea, their canoes coupling with the land one by one. Lion-eyed gemlings met us with shining metal and bold words. Hyri's arrows withered their pride. Calm's axis silenced their despair.
Trying to be respectful to the dialogue, but I guess you just have to do it. Gonna end up dying because of that. At least he keeps playing afterwards, so it doesn't matter. Oh, isn't this gonna be like this? Is that guy gonna be here again? The first boss we fought, or I guess this is still in the area after that. Where's all the phantasms? We do have that equipped. Oh, it's happening kind of without me realizing it. I think is at least what that animation looks like. Why am I even doing this? I should have just warped back there. I just am giving that time to reset. Brood bow. What do they exactly do? Port skills that this game has like as a chance to summon like an internal way of trying to show, like, yeah, look at all these abilities. Look at not only the gear and the abilities that the gear is going to have, but then look at the gem, and then the gem will have a gem too. Like it's trying to be very layered, which is good, but it's just kind of surprising. Like, I wonder if that socket thing was added later to the game, or if that was always one of the core mechanics. It'll only proc when the specific skill gem attached to it does damage. Huey's greatest strength, greatest weakness, depth. Which is appreciated in a game of this style, too. Especially. Where I work, only hire seniors or above. I don't know why I'm so enamored by the chat here. I guess because I was too lazy to try to turn it off. Normally I hate that kind of stuff, but this game I actually find kind of relaxing because it doesn't feel like I'm really going to die. But maybe that's exactly what they want to lull me into. Because I almost did just die in this stupid cave. Or maybe just this class makes it feel like that. Not new player friendly. Seems fine to me. Even with only one life, I'm just kind of chilling, breezing through it. But of course, I am no ordinary player. I've really played very few games like this. Like the Diablo 1, I've only played twice in that same, permadeath challenge context. And Torchlight 2, I think I played Torchlight 1 a little bit, but that's pretty much it. I don't even know, actually, of too many other examples of games like this style. Pillars of Eternity, maybe? I think I always confuse those two. Pillars of Eternity and Path of Exile, just because I don't know. They're both PoE, right? And they have a sequel of that, too. How did I get to the little mud pool again? Or I guess this is the mud area. That was the fetid pool. I feel like it was at the top left here somewhere. I should use this just... No, actually, I shouldn't use that to get around because you're still trying to save it for combat. It's not going to come back on its own. Those are like quality of life changes in and of themselves, right? To this genre of games. The ability in Torchlight where you never have to go back to town because you have a dog with you that's going to go sell stuff for you and bring you the money back while you're in the middle of a dungeon. And it's kind of like with the flask system too, so you never have to worry about constantly stocking on the potions. They'll just kind of give it to you for... Wait, it changed though. So not only did it reset like where the enemies were, but... Or is this just a different thing altogether? No, this must be the same. Okay, so maybe with the help of the extra phantasm stuff, we might be able to take this guy. It's just hard to focus on hitting him when he summons like a million things. But look at who's talking. That's my whole strategy here. Map areas reset every 8 to 15 minutes. I guess I was kind of waiting for that too because I couldn't deal with them right in the beginning there. That's actually a pretty good strategy by them. Just camp the entrance. Okay, so let's see what I can do. Maybe I can take advantage of the speed ability too. Feels like my zombies are very rarely dying too. Need more mana. I can do one of these. You may as well do them too, in fact, because you're wasting it. Because you're getting charges all the time, no matter what. Yeah, a little bit of random dynamic stuff with almost like a rogue-like element where it's going to be slightly different every time. Like even the whole angle of it flipped to the other side. But I kind of wanted to fight the other guy. Don't tell me this is going to be the boss of the area. If you want to purposefully reset an area, you can control click on the archway to make a new instance. Interesting. He must still be the final boss here, although I don't remember fighting the other guy. The way that things rush at you is pretty interesting. They don't seem to want you to be able to cheese it and kite stuff away. I mean, at least the fact that he summons stuff allows me to keep summoning stuff, but it's really hard to stay there and keep fighting him. And then if you do this, they'll just keep summoning more stuff at you. Actually, a hard lock kind of moment. I could kill these all day. No big deal, but got to be a point where we get a little window opening here. Or maybe this is the one that's causing it to trigger on me like that. Should be plenty of corpses around. I don't know if you can raise your own, like if that's what I'm doing there, but he summoned like a mini boss, it almost seemed like, amongst all the regular things that he does. I do like this shield. Yeah, see, mechanics like that are always good. That and just hazards on the ground. Okay, round 2. This guy is literally my arch nemesis here, and his shield keeps coming back. Oh, but you know what you could do is just keep taking little chunks of his health off, and then accept the fact that kind of getting too complacent, stuck in place. Okay, okay, we're getting him. Come on, get him quick so he doesn't fucking do that shit again. Oh, okay, good. Typically, the gem will say consume corpse to summon XYZ. That guy was actually interesting.
Too much clutter.
Kill all them. Oh, but he's still not satisfied. Oh, there's going to be another boss even after that. Keep going, dude. How big is this place? This is what everybody asks in all of these games, but especially about the main hub area. Which at least this game doesn't seem like that. Or there'll be like certain areas like that. Maybe they go on for a long period of time, but like with 50 million floors where you just keep going down into the bowels. I kind of like that though in a way. It's a very interesting dynamic. Because yeah, even when you start playing Diablo, it's like, oh, we're going into the church to clear it out. And then literally 10 hours later, oh, we're still in the church clearing it out. Not that it actually is the church, but you just keep going down and down and down. Oh, don't tell me there's going to be another necromancer type. And to keep remembering to spam the potions. Apparently there's nothing to raise. These bone things are maybe a little bit confusing in that regard. Extra lightning damage and exposure, extra cold damage and exposure. Added vest, whatever. Summon XYZ, that'll give me Yu-Gi-Oh! PTSD because of how much I hate the synchro summoning and stuff. Holy shit. Level 8. Most of these are going to be melee tuned enemies too. I almost want to make a melee class just to get that feel. Areas have 4 to 6 different layouts, which they flip, mirror, and rotate. That is pretty cool to keep it fresh on either multiple playthroughs or even just, you know, what can always be fun is if they scale stuff up. So like once you get to max level, you could come back to this dungeon or any of these other places and it wouldn't matter because, you know, you get the enemy variety and the mechanical variety, but they'll all be up to your level. I feel like that is a tendency of this type of game to allow that because there's no downside. You can just go anywhere in the world then and have a relevant combat encounter. They do that for the speed racers. Oh, so you can't speed run it too effectively? You won't know exactly what to expect. Yeah, that is like a roguelike-ish element, which is kind of cool. Let me get rid of something here. Oh, wait, that actually looks potentially good, but you have to identify it. Use the Scroll of Wisdom. The more gem slots, the better. Let's see, what is this? Arcane Surge Support will track how much mana you spend on it, granting a buff when it reaches a certain threshold. Cannot support skills used by totems, traps, etc. I guess this just has an empty slot already. It makes me feel compelled to keep using that shitty piece of gear. But I guess you can just take the gems out. But maybe you can only take them out if you replace them with another one. Yeah, this place is humongous. I thought that guy would be the final boss. anyone's dumb enough to hire me, then they're definitely going to fail as a company. I like his awareness and honesty there. I don't trust any individual software company will still be around in 5 years.
I need more mana.
Okay, I get another buff to my shield here. 20 to maximum energy shield. I'm just hard stacking this because that's the most important thing. If you can't die, it doesn't matter how long it takes you to kill stuff. I could care less about damage and intelligence and stuff. Let's see if you can zoom out on the map. I guess not. Level 1, level 2, level 4, level 3. Extra life does extra cold damage and exposure. I don't know if it absorbs the full... Oh, what's that? What's that? Oh, please don't crash again. Imagine if I die in a moment like that. Norton pop-up on my computer is what caused it to minimize there. Orb of Alteration does what? Oh, I already had one. Look to level up. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't do that. I don't see what you're really saving it for otherwise. At least if you could level up the same one twice instead of doing, you know, each one once. Or although that time it didn't give me the option to do the other one. There's still more apparently. Now it seems like I'm retracing my steps.
Too much clutter.
Huh. I don't know. I don't remember seeing all these chests, but it seems like I have been here before. Orb of Regret. Gems have attribute requirements. Some gems trigger proc with different leveling conditions. So some gems you do avoid leveling up. Let's see. Where could this continue?
Too much clutter.
And like the whole spam clicking aspect to move too. I don't know why you can never move with WASD and stuff in these games, or at least as an option. I guess because they're usually bound to some keybind, but or like even with the number pad, it might not work particularly well, and most people probably wouldn't want to do it. But they should at least give you the option. Isn't this where I came from? So what could I be missing? Oh no, it's gonna. Oh no, it might not reset right away. Where didn't I go? Probably that should have been it. There'll just be one loose little thing hiding in the corner. Good example would be something like Precision and Clarity. They are auras, constant buffs, but leveling them requires more and more attributes or reserves more and more mana, and if it reserves all your mana to the point it breaks your builds. We went around here. This is a real mystery. This just turned into a detective game. Try to find the missing single enemy probably to be able to clear this place out. After a while, you almost forget that it's even a one life thing because it's just so smooth and easy. Like with Anthem, not to jinx it, I almost just died yesterday. But I love taking games that, you know, wouldn't normally be considered in that way. Right? Like anything multiplayer online. You can do it with any MMO. You can even do it with like multiplayer games like League of Legends. Play as, you know, the heroes in order, the champions in order, until you lose as one, and then you have to move on to the next one, like the round robin thing. So if you go on a crazy win streak, not if you die obviously, but just if your team loses or whatever, you could go on a crazy streak to just...
Too much clutter.
I think that even is an upgrade. I kind of am just desensitized to the inventory. To where I don't even want... Or actually, I don't even want to do that because I have all the gems in there. Oh, here we go. Must be the last wave. Thank God. Oh, you get a nice little brightening up of the area, too. Now, they'll never have enemies here again until you come back 15 minutes later, and they probably will. And they'll probably have them forever because, like I said, you can probably come back to any area in the game. That's kind of something that every game should do, right? Like, why? That's what I always hate. You clear through an area and then you come back later and there's no enemies there ever, and that's just it. So there's no purpose to it. Why not just have the same type of enemies respawn and scale to your level and stuff, so that it fleshes out the whole world, so you can go anywhere at any time and still have a relevant experience if you really want, just to give variety and stuff. Trying to think of an example of a game that did that, that didn't do that, that kind of pissed me off. Like, you have the whole world and it's just empty and there's no point. Once you go through it, that's it. There's no reason to ever go back. Lion's Eye Watch, find the glyphs. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is Roa's Nest. I assume Lion's Eye will just be the next one over. Does reuse a lot of assets, but yeah, that's at least a good excuse to reuse them. Because then, yeah, like, you go to a high level area and then you're just stuck in that high level area forever because, you know, that's the only thing that's level appropriate. Any Rust Enjoyers. How fitting that I just played that for the first time today too. Incredible. What are the chances somebody would ask that right when I'm playing this? Holy shit. It comes full circle. The game or the programming language? Oh, he's gonna cuck me by saying that. That's what he meant. Yeah. Still. Let's see. Where is the next area forward here? I like how these never run out on cooldown, so you don't have to just summon them for that reason alone. These things haven't, like, ever respawned, so I guess out in the overworld they might not. Or it might take a lot longer. Okay, let's look at the map. This should be a case where... I guess I can just take the portal scroll back. A dirty job optional. Just sell a whole bunch of stuff. Is the mouse wheel to zoom in and out? It actually isn't as zoomed out as I maybe expected, or like I was being critical of the genre as a whole, but still, the perspective is what it is. But yeah, this is maybe a lot closer than I'm used to. Okay, so she's a shopkeeper, sell everything pretty much. How much gold do I even have? Get rid of that, get rid of that. I don't really care about most of the stuff. I can use a bow. Oh, we already put that in there. This music is so Diablo-esque too, of how the town sounds and stuff. The people who made Torchlight, I think, were some of the people involved with Diablo, right? Who, like, broke away and did their own thing.
Goodbye.
I'm not sure who made this, but...
You managed to salvage Shaky Hand's druggery. Nicely done. Nessa will put it to good use. More than that benumbed quack Optin ever did.
Drowned dead, undead Roas.
Rotting rowers, roosting right here in Rayclaw. Squawking, suppurating spooks stalking our sandy seashore. Blighted, bedeviled bird bones beaking about our business. What? Can't a man have even a little fun in this dismal place?
Oh, this is good. Keep going. I can do that for every enemy type in the game. Enter the strange portals and explore the forbidden Sanctum. Now they're finally telling me to do the Sanctum stuff that I was kind of semi-doing anyway.
Washed up on the rocks over yonder. Dead as a doornail he was. Buried him myself. Then, a few days later, I see him on the beach. A little worse for wear, but upright, shuffling about. A land full of disturbing surprises, this Rayclast.
That was one of my old RP names. A-R-O-L, though, not A-R... What did he say it with?
Arrow, the merry gulls.
He said it with 2 R's.
Poor Nessa. Not even a mother herself, and yet she cares for us all. And what a sickly, pathetic brood we are. May she live to have her own family. A real family. If anyone deserves that, Nessa does.
What is this thing over here? Holy shit. Is that like part of his armor or what? I can't even tell. Just for your information, normal items are worth so little it's not even worth picking up. Yeah, that's kind of my feeling. They sell for scroll fragments, and it's fairly common to get 1,000 scrolls as you progress. Recommended to ID rare items before vendoring them, such as alchemy. Alternate shards are transmutation shard better than transmutation shards. Glowy wings and rainbow steps. Or are these some of the cosmetics? Should almost save stuff like that for a badass high-level piece of gear. Damn, look at all this stuff. Let's look at actually where we can travel to. It wants me to go there. Or maybe it doesn't just let me do that. Whatever, I can just walk there. Travel to the mud flats. What is the mud flats again? I thought that's just where I was, but maybe I haven't been there yet. Mud and air sea. That must have been where I was. And I just did that too. The tidal island. And I couldn't figure out that glyph thing either. Small dot on the map is a waypoint you can use for fast travel. You have to click on the waypoint. Let's just kill some more random zombies. Oh, so it maybe it keeps changing the overroll too, like at a different angle. Yeah, so you can't become a hardcore speedrunner and just memorize the optimal way to do it. Or people will be so good at doing that that they'll still be able to account for whatever changes there might be. So they'll immediately be able to identify it, and they've practiced that one too. Every imaginable possibility of the same area and level. One of those RP immersion problems too, like where, oh, we have these zombies running around in town because you don't have to put them away, like having the Void Walker in Stormwind. They memorize the 4 to 6 layouts. That is perfect. Yeah, like how you have the Void Walker and you're just walking around in a major city, or even, you know, how I always like that, how the Warlock trainers were like underground, like in the basement and stuff. So it's still part of society, but it's at least, they recognize that it's frowned upon. Forbidden magic and whatnot. Pretty good shot. I didn't even see the guy before he hit me. And this shield is just too nice to have, though. Not really used to that, in fact. I imagine that most people would actually start by at least getting... I mean, you would at least get the first one just so you have the shield, period. And then you can figure out how much you really want to go into it. That's pretty much all I've gotten. Little mini boss guy that we already fought. This is like a level 2 area. I kind of forgot how I even got past here. Let's retrace our steps. Pretend there is no fast travel and you just have to manually do it, which basically just punishes you like crazy for going through back to town. But then again, that's not even fast travel. You could just use the portal, so at least you have to expend a resource. Huh. Dead end. I forgot how I even got through here. What is that? Is that one of those Sanctum things again? Which it actually was telling me to do there. For once with the quest. I almost want to try some of the other classes just to see what they're like, but... That's why if I ever die in any of these, I'm doing it on purpose, just because I want to get variety, not because I actually failed. That's how Star Wars felt, actually, the Old Republic. That was almost too easy, whereas EverQuest, I spent the whole time and I only get to level 2. Okay, this is the Lion's Eye thing it kept telling me to do. Or wait. What did it say? Talk to this guy for my reward. Soon enough, you'll die and have another chance. I doubt it.
And I'd wager it has something to do with those empty sockets in the cliff face. Whatever filled were shiny, who knows? Maybe they're decorating some rower nests. I've
Oh,
seen
it's...
necromancer. Just the one, was it? Guess the bastard got a bit lonely, decided to make himself some pets. Well, good to see you don't mind getting your hands good and filthy. Here, to mark a dirty job well done.
Kind of insulting our style of play. We like to do exactly the same thing. We get lonely and we summon pets of our own. You got a problem with that? Select one reward. Book of Regrets grants 2 passive respec points. A Book of Skill, right click to gain 2 passive respec points.
I've traveled inland on the Emperor's Road via Prisoner's Gate. Had to skirt around Axiom Prison. That's the holdfast of Brutus the Warden. Bloody treacherous trip it was. Worth it? There's forest inland. Game, berries, fruit. More food than we can scrounge here. But most here wouldn't survive the journey. Would be a damn sight easier if we could pass through the prison. Tell you what, you carve us a path up the coast, find us a way past or through Brutus, and you'll have more than a few lives owing to you.
First time playing, I'd be surprised if you made it past Act 1. It's doable. Made Recruitos as a first time player. Lions I watch, drowned dead. He's just gonna tell me about them. Travel to the mud flats. Enter the submerged passage in the mud flats. Enter the strange portal in the forbidden sanctum. Okay, let me see how the fast travel thing works actually. What is this over here? Event notice board. Ends in 20 hours. Class gauntlet. That was like a little hidden area with the... See, another issue with possibly the top-down thing, but that instance was at least like a cleverly disguised use of it. You earn a personal hideout. Earn and complete safe and sound in Act 2. Mercy mission. Doesn't really seem like you can do this. Huh. Whatever, I can just run through there, but I kind of forgot where I went. You don't have the waypoint yet. Or wait, shouldn't my portal thing still be there? I guess not. Okay, where do I have to go from here to progress? It would be... probably down to the bottom right would make sense. Maybe I'll check out that Sanctum thing again. Most of these enemies don't really respawn. Maybe that I just missed. You still have a portal up.
Khan's canoe struck this sand with the force of destiny. At his back, the greatest war host in Kardui history tamed the...
Oh, I think I already heard this. But I do like how it keeps playing even once you leave that. That's something Anthem could use like with its radio recordings and stuff. It's actually weird. How did I get through this the first time? Maybe if I do it, it'll just take me there anyway. Let's see. No, this will still go back to town, won't it? Maybe somehow I didn't go through here, but no, I must have. Enemies don't respawn in already explored instances unless there is a necromancer or altar. You just replace your portal. You have entered the coast. I don't even see on the map where the progression would be here. I just did it. Shouldn't be that hard to figure out. Let's see, we have nothing on the left. Looks like a dead end. You can press tab and arrow keys to move around the map. Oh, that is good. That's all water. That looks like a dead end. That is actually weird. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'll go backwards the other way. Just use this scroll portal again. Doesn't really matter. You're gonna get a million of those anyway. Here, let's look on this side then. Professional level 2. I kind of forgot how I kept getting back there.
Hadri of Dayton,
Went through there. That's just a town.
God and your fellow man, you have been a willing vessel for the following sins.
Back to town again. Yeah, I thought maybe I have to go backwards. Go back through the portal. And head screen down. Yeah, I must just be missing whatever Passover point I went through earlier. These shouldn't be much of a threat because it's more like level 1, level 2 type areas. We got the little phantasm bonus too on top of the zombies now. Makes me think even less likely that I've been here though, because then there shouldn't be any enemies. I mean, you could theoretically even just do this to get to max level. I don't know if they stop giving you experience completely after a point, or if you can really do that. It would obviously just take forever though, even if they do. Sanctum Archives. I don't think I really use that to get through though. Oh, we unlock a waypoint here. You can only go between here and town. I must have missed all this, even though I went through the area. Weird. Blue circle on the minimap is the waypoint. Huh. How did I miss all that if I already went through here? There's a submerged passage in the mudflats. Is that like the thing in the middle? Sanctum Archives. You follow the right hand side to the cave. Or actually I had to do like 3 little...
Black storms descend on us from the north. Unnatural tempests of rage and hatred, lashing our backs, tearing at our houses. The rain is shot with shadow. It withers our crops, sickens our livestock. And the wind carries with it a restless spirit that breeds melancholy and madness. A spirit that creeps through our dreams, weaves tales of misdeed around our resting minds. We try not to listen. We try to remember ourselves. Some of us forget. Brothers fight. Brothers die.
It can't even... It can't even scroll slow enough to keep up with his speech. Or for his speech to keep up with that. He just gives up. He doesn't even say the last line. Yeah, we have to collect 3 of something here. Roa's Nest, Glyph. So I think I already got one of them. Or I must have gotten 2. Go over to here. Submerged passage is now open. It felt like I could have done that before, but maybe it wouldn't let me. Find the Emperor's Road. Another waypoint. Ooh, mysterious music. It's weird that it took me that long to find the first one because I did go through that area. And that was like the same way I went through it too. Let's see like another cool boss battle now. Although that necromancer guy was pretty interesting. Although I think that whole area was optional. The little fetid pools or whatever. I should just still pay attention to armor values because that could be the difference between life and death. Prisoner's Gate. Talk to the guy for my reward. They are starting to have armor values themselves, which could be deeply concerning. You're never going to run out of corpses, especially if you can bring these little things up, which you can. I should prefer fewer enemies with more health than, you know, the little quantity over quality stuff. Brood Princess. Still within my shield. That's pretty much the only thing I keep an eye on. And then I should keep popping the potions just for the heck of it. There's really no downside to it. I really want one that even restores just my shield. That'll be my number 4. Apparently you can take them off of there though too, so we're gonna have so many potion options for later.
I need more mana.
That's where error speech actually helps you. You don't even have to look at anything. You can just wait till she says it. Doesn't really feel like mana is nearly as big of an issue as, well, potentially. I'm more worried about it for that reason. And I do have the little mobility escape thing here too, with respect to the the 3, because that's even what I was complaining about. Like, oh, I need an ability that just helps me get out of there sometimes. I really wish these guys would walk ahead of you. Crude bow. I haven't even bothered really looking at too much of this stuff. It arguably doesn't matter, but even a little difference that it makes could be important. Pressing C will allow you to look at your offense, defense. I can make recommendations, but I consider it backseating. Yeah, I think I'm doing fine for now. 141 life, 144 mana, 103 maximum energy shield. Not bad. Intelligence, +1 mana, +1% energy shield. Oh, even just the act of doing that gives you some too. 2 strength equals 1 life, 5 strength equals 1% physical damage, 1 dex is 2 accuracy, and 1% evasion. The Submerged Passage. Click on the defense tab. Armor 11, estimated physical damage reduction 14%, 103 evasion, evade attack, shield energy 103, recharge 37 per second, mana regen 3.2, fire resist, blah blah blah. Chance to block attack damage 22%, but block it with what? I don't even have a shield or anything. What is this? When did I even... Oh, I did get a shield. It just must have auto-equipped it. I don't think I remember doing that. Trunk. This always suits me to play a caster type of character, but I feel like I do it too often, so I sometimes have to, you know, reverse it for that reason alone. Then it'll turn into where I played too many melee characters lately, so now I have to play a mage just to mix that up too. But at least this is not a traditional mage. That was like the first guy. They were even trying to tease me with that. The way they do the intro is kind of cool, actually. Everybody's just getting shit talked to them about all the terrible things they've done. Okay. A little bit short on the shield. Let's just get out of there for a second. Hide Strider of the Ice. Oh, this stuff like that is what's going to kill you if you get stun locked for a second. Any kind of crowd control shenanigans. Their shields aren't super hard to get through, but just the fact that they have them is kind of annoying. Or just the temptation to summon stuff when I'm in that animation. That's what'll really get me screwed up. Padded vest. Here, let me get rid of some random stuff that I'm not going to use. 28 evasion rating, shield energy. I almost just have such a bias for the shield energy, or something's going to drop something actually pretty good and rare, and I'm not even going to be paying attention to it. I feel like this is where I just came from around. Maybe not. Never understood the whole boosting stuff in any of the, like in even an MMO, like, oh, run me through dead mines to get to, you know, 1 to 60, just run me through every dungeon. But it's like, what's the point then? Like, people act like they've leveled every class and done every little thing. Let's see, where else can we go? A lot of dead ends here. It must be here. That was like a little mini boss battle in and of itself. Okay, there must be another way to go down. Or is this where I came from? They can keep going back and forth in the same area. I kind of like that I keep getting lost. It's not as linear with some of these dungeons as maybe I thought it'd be. Although it comes to the same thing, because there's really nothing to do besides loot stuff in every corner. Stuff that is not going to be particularly important either. Although I could live to eat those words. I'm normally such a completionist, but I feel like this kind of game you don't really have to worry as much. That is still my tendency, though. I'd read every single piece of item and actually try to think it through and act like it actually matters, which it probably should to me, given the severity of the consequence of dying, but isn't this like the same archive thing? Those things are just everywhere. I don't really feel like I should have to worry about that right now, though. Okay, so they're leveling at like disparate rates right now. At least it shows me that. A lot of sea-themed creatures here. I mean, the whole area is by the water, but especially these. You can come back and do any missing content. That's common in PoE because the campaign is considered to be... It's only considered the early game. It's about 10 to 15... What, the whole campaign, though? Shit. It's 10x, isn't it? That would be like considered the whole game to me, because that's normally actually like my win condition. If I just get to max level, I beat the game. Act 1 to 10 is 10% of the game. Holy shit. So the rest of it you have to do in multiplayer, or I'm sure you can still do random stuff like this, like wandering around dungeons and stuff, but or I'm sure you could like grind stuff out. That's kind of surprising though. Like obviously I know there's a lot of endgame stuff, but it can't be that skewed 90%. Jesus Christ. Or there'll be like one special area that you can do over and over. Like, I forget what that's called in Torchlight and stuff. So it'll keep doing some level appropriate thing, but you keep doing it over and over to get like a higher level of prestige or whatever. And then it keeps getting harder over time. Painbore, the Blood Drinker. So it's effectively like you're doing the same thing over and over, but they find a way to maybe make it roguelike-ish. Phantasm support is up. I feel like I'm not really noticing that they're doing that much damage or exactly what they're doing, but it can be a bad thing. Not like you really have to control them or do some activatable. Any kind of stun or freeze like that really scares me, because if that happens at the wrong time, like as soon as my shield runs out, I could actually die from it. Here, let me do a little bit with that. Looting during combat and reading flavor text during combat and trying to upgrade skills and stuff. All these things could be my potential weaknesses. Like in a raid in WoW, I would like just loot the trash. Like, what the fuck are you doing? in the middle of a boss fight or something, you'll just loot some ad. You can make the argument that PoE is not the best ARPG, but it's commonly undisputed that as far as content goes, it is king. It's certainly been around for a very long time. I forget when it came out, but I always heard about it. In fact, for some reason, even like people who like Diablo would always say, oh, it's better, or it's better in certain ways. Like how people say the Outer Worlds is better than Fallout 4, which I haven't played enough of either one to be able to say that, but I think sometimes they do that just to fluff up some company that like overachieves or something. Like it's, you know, good that it's even in the conversation, but I don't know that the Outer Worlds is really better. Or like people like to just shit on the big brand, you know, the big company. Small indie company does the same thing and they're so impressed. Which even Rust was made by an indie company, but they've come a long way with that. That I really wish there was just like some kind of single player mode dedicated thing. I would have to like host my own server to make it so. Which is not super easy to do. I like how big these dungeons are. The Ledge. Circle of Fear. Synthesized Sapphire Ring. And of course, all these games use the same color scheme, I bet, for items, right? Like white is common, gray would be like shitty, trash. Green would be uncommon, then blue is rare, purple is epic, and orange is legendary. Like every single game does that. It could be Anthem, it could be whatever. Destiny. Goat Man. Yeah, let's be a little careful now. Seems like it's gonna ramp up maybe a little bit. I wonder what the other 90% of the content is, though. If it's not the story, it's like just endgame raids and maybe farming stuff out, getting reps. So you were mentioning that playing for 100 hours would be challenging because you don't really have that kind of time. PoE is a very knowledgeable, skill-based game. Nobody has to spend 100 hours every time they level up a character, which is why veteran players emphasize speed. Yeah, but it's more just like an immersion thing. I like to do that. Like where every little thing, I would read all the flavor text and I would just kind of mull over all the little things because it's just... Like, I don't like to play things in a hurry, really. Not about the destination, but the journey. But of course, some of these games are designed with that emphasis in mind. But even then, it's still up to you exactly how you play it. You don't really have to do it that way. Yeah, that fire AoE is a little bit scary. The only crowd control so far that they've done to me is that I feel like sometimes I use too many of the ticks of the potions, which I really don't have to do. I'll redeem my Diablo failure. 2 Diablo failures. I won't even count the immortal one, just because that was an AFK Andy moment. But by getting to max level in this without dying. Let's see. Let's do the more in the shield category. 15% shield and recharge rate. I guess you don't really have a choice on this one. That's just the bridge to the next category. Speedrunners do Act 10 in under 4 hours, and even heroic characters do it in 6 to 8, or hardcore characters. That's because they want to do the endgame content, which is under 34 hours to get, even if you're a veteran player. And then even after endgame content, PoE has aspirational content that's very challenging to prepare characters to complete. Yeah, so you'll never run out of stuff to do, but even like in MMOs, I'm that way. I don't really feel like you have to rush to get there. And then there's always that reverse feedback loop, just in general, like where people say, oh, you know, we got to the end game and now there's nothing left to do. But meanwhile, they'll have played it for like 100+ hours to get there. It's like, and done it as quickly. Like right when a game comes out, I always love that. Within the first week, they're like, oh, this game sucks. There's nothing left to do. Meanwhile, they played it for the whole week straight. That's usually more of a single player game type of trope, but still. Like with GTA 5. Even I said that with GTA 5, but that's just because they got rid of vigilante missions and stuff, which I love so much from the other games. Or like gang wars. Instead of moving that stuff forward, they just got rid of it and said, oh, just play online, just buy shark cards. It does give them some sort of underlying incentive. First character to solo delve to depth 6750. No idea what any of that means, but good for him, I guess. Or like they should make one of these games where there's no max level. I always loved that in Tibia. Nobody knew what the max level was, and you could lose levels by dying. So imagine that. Somebody's like level 650 and they're the highest in the world. And then they die and they go back to 649, and it took them literally a year to get from 649 to 650 or something. But then again, they shouldn't die because they're the highest. I mean, somebody could be close to them, or like a couple 600s will gang up on the 650. That was such a cruel game. Not only do you lose levels when you die, but you steal people's gear too. You'll just lose at least parts of your inventory, maybe not the whole thing. I forget. 6% increase maximum shield regen, 6%, 8% mana. I don't really care about anything besides the shield, but I could be becoming a one trick a little bit with that. I should spread it out a little more. But then again, once you commit to a line, you kind of just... Man, how many goat men are we going to kill here? Very common complaint for new players is they get very engaged. They get close to endgame stuff after 150 to 200 hours of play, and then the league ends and they feel all that effort went to waste, which isn't really true. You can play that character in standard. It's a different vibe. How long do the leagues last? That can go, man. So whenever they're purple like this, is some kind of elite thing. 3 to 4 months. Almost sounds like we're talking about a card game season the same way, like reward track or whatever. Yeah, if you miss the reward track, you'll never get your level 100 special hero thing. Just a way to kind of goad you into playing every day. Jesus Christ, this mobility is actually a good mechanic. Because it kind of plays against my whole preconception of trying to kite. There's been a lot of enemies that have that, actually. Like the crabs that kept rushing me, or even the one fire chick who would teleport behind me. You can press H to see the league rewards and cosmetics. Let me guess, those fire wings must be part of it. Monster Massacre, 0 out of a million. That are level 68 or higher. Oh, how come I already have some of these? Buy a vendor item with at least 3 link sockets from a vendor. Probably most of these will be reserved for high-level content. Basic armor or glowy armor. Challenger, leader. I mean, that's nice that they have all that. It definitely gives you a ton of stuff to do. Yeah, it's like I'd be either one extreme or the other. I was an achievement hunter in WoW before they even added achievements. Like, I would try to fill out the map and stuff just because of my completionist nature. But I would either try to do every single thing obsessively, or I just wouldn't give a shit and just take my time. It's one or the other. There's no in-between. So at some point, I think I just gave up caring about doing stuff like that. Or like WoW and MMOs kind of broke me. Because with single-player games, I could always do that. Try to 100% them and stuff. But then as soon as I play, like, you know, WoW Classic for the first time, it's like you could spend your whole life doing that. You're never going to get every character to every class to level 60. You're never going to do every quest. You're never going to get every rep. It's just too much. And then play every boss as every spec in every raid, right? It's not enough like, oh, I did every raid as every class. No, I have to do it now as a resto shaman too, or as a arms warrior instead of just prot or whatever. hardest part with that would be like some shitty specs that wouldn't even be viable, but you find a way to fit them in anyway. It was kind of like a tough moment because I almost tried to approach it like that. Like, let me try to 100% it. And then little did I know what I was dealing with. But that's just like a shock to the MMO genre in general, because I hadn't played too many games like that up to that point. That's why multiplayer players are spoiled with the just raw amount of content that you get in every game. Like, even if it's not good or it's repetitive, you're just always guaranteed to have a lot of it. Most veteran players consider the league done when they finish the 40-40 challenge under league challenges, but it's very hard for casuals to complete. So how is PvP in this? Is that like a big thing, or I imagine it must be. I don't remember it being that big of a deal actually in Diablo. Just from what I heard about it, but grinning totem. Can't bring the totem back as a zombie at least. I'm sure the 5 people that play PvP have a lot of fun doing so. Really, it's not a big deal at all. Feels like it could be pretty awesome, but it's really a PvE focused multiplayer game. Pretty unique. Not a thing, too many cheese builds that can be played. Yeah, but that's the whole fun of it. Cheese versus cheese. See who can do it better. I always love the illusion of balance and stuff. Like, no multiplayer game has ever been balanced. And then as soon as it is, they'll add something new for the next expansion or whatever, and that'll break it yet again. So that's why I always hate standard formats in card games and stuff too. It's like, just use every card that ever existed, and if you come up with something broken, who cares? Like, but obviously people are very egotistical about it. Okay, go ahead and do the potion. I haven't used the health potions in a while, but that's because I'm being so judicious with my shield. Must be some boss type enemy in the distance doing all that crazy crap with the lightning. Talk about environment hazards. Just stay out of the fire. Just stay out of the... It's gonna be like a bullet hell experience here. Holy shit. Speaking of having to use potions, you can always be patient with it. The shield is the greatest blessing in the world. Just this infinite health possibility. It's always hard when the enemies just keep spawning. Like, if they eventually stop, then I can just focus on him, but if not, I'm just so focused on these, it's hard to get him. Or you got to get in like one hit and just be patient and hope that his health doesn't come back and stuff too. Although, see, now those potions might be a factor too. Yeah, go ahead and just do that. Wait for the thing. I mean, he is a stationary totem, so it's not like he can chase you, unlike most of these. The story gets boring over and over and over again. Yeah, I gotta get to max level as every single class first before I do any of the endgame stuff. That would be my standard. Even in like Anthem, I'm doing that. The false god. Jesus Christ, I like some of these attack patterns. Stay out of that. Of course, punishing melee users even more, as everything does. Even then, I'm being a bit of a clown and going in like that, though. Come on, give me some more little zombies. I almost feel bad. I didn't choose that class expecting... I guess it makes sense, but really, it's not like it was called a necromancer. You can't even blame me. I was trying to use a magic user without using the typical, like, mage archetype that I normally would. Yeah, how exactly would you do this as a melee user? Like, what the fuck? You'd have to keep going in and out to heal, but you wouldn't be doing damage while doing that. It's just so unfair sometimes in every kind of game. Typically not considered fun to get killed off screen 0.5 seconds after you move. That might be a consideration, certainly. And then there has to be some sort of unspoken honor code, like people recognize something is broken, but they'll still choose to use just something like a theme deck, something that's creative and interesting. But there is sort of like this illusion of superiority that people want to have. But then it's like, who draws first, like a Wild West standoff. Who can kill the other guy in 0.5 seconds before? So that's what it'll come down to. You can both have the exact same build, so... And then it changes 5 seconds later because people complain about it, I'm sure.
Too much clutter.
That is a fate I would not wish on my worst enemies, to try to balance an online multiplayer PvP game. As soon as you finally get it, or at least then, the best way to do it is just don't add any more content. That's what you can learn from like chess or something. The game's just unchanged for so long, but even then they added the en passant not too long ago, a couple hundred years, or the ability to push pawns 2 moves. Couple balance changes. I mean, that whole 2-move thing was a response to that, or I mean the en passant was a response to that, so that you can't abuse it. I can't wait till they come up with a new rule, probably something involving the horse once it is shown to be completely suboptimal. That's one of my life predictions. Before I die, the horse in chess will be buffed because it sucks so bad. And I'll live by that. Clip this moment forever and it'll be so proven true by analytics and stuff. Oh, little bone wheels. We got a little Dark Souls action. Tread wheel. So fucking annoying, dude. I spend more time on those than obviously the whole rest of the area. It's just like in that room leading up to Pinwheel that you face like 100 of those. Yeah, they're really overusing these goatmen a bit. Kind of a different vibe to this area though. Like you get the whole brightly lit, nice and sunny. Whoops. Can't escape these sanctums everywhere. They really want me to do that. Let's see. What level am I anyway? I keep forgetting. Level 10. Wonder if PETA would be upset over something like this. They're not exactly good kind of goats, but still.
Too much clutter.
Or like how they were upset about Pokemon. It's teaching kids how to train and defeat Pokemon, even though Pokemon aren't real, but because they resemble animals or something, they somehow tried to still make an argument against it. Like that's the whole reason why you make them a fictional thing, is to avoid having doing that. Otherwise, you could just make Pokemon with real animals and just do it that way. It's not like there's any copyright limit. I gotta use this more when I feel like I'm in trouble. Mobility is very important. Oh shit, now they're starting to take offense to my slander. Too many goats, you say? Let's introduce a new ability. It's so hard to... Like, what if I have to stop now? What if I have to use the bathroom? I just have to keep... I guess I have to use a scroll to town portal. But, like, you can't just stop in the middle of an area like this. You're no bone wheel, that's for sure. The way they just stun lock you and break your poise in a chain. One of the biggest troll enemies in gaming history right there. So good. Sanctum, especially when you're like a cloth wearer like me, like a mage. Sanctum is the league mechanic, so that's why they're popping up everywhere. Once it goes core, it'll be somewhere between 6 and 8% chance of showing up. So we're pretty close to leveling those things up again. We got to stay on top of the skeletons now. It's getting a little bit more aggressive. Yeah, the real hard mode would be doing this as a melee class, but hey, who cares? Although I'm almost tempted to try that. They're going to have abilities that, you know, make it a little more manageable, but still, it's going to be an uphill battle. This is the kind of perfect game if you just don't care about story and you just want, you know, not like, you know what you're getting into, so you can't even complain about it that way. Like these games are pretty upfront with how, you know, that's how they're designed. This non-stop balls to the wall action. Gotta watch out for the purple mobs sometimes. A lot of floating aura shields and stuff around them. I kind of want that for myself. That's like an orbital from Binding of Isaac. But those usually do damage, but these will just protect you from projectiles or whatever. Speaking of a game that can be meted to death, even in a single player context. Absolutely incredible. I don't know what he's made since then, though, besides a million DLCs for it. Edmund McMillan. Yeah, let's do this quick before something attacks us. One of these times in the menu, we're going to get jumped by a goat man. Level these up. Yeah, these games are to blame for everybody having ADD and 5-second attention spans, or at least they certainly spoil and play into that idea. Let's see. 20% increased maximum shield. Like, I can't get enough of the shield, dude. I guess it must be the hell. I guess the percentages don't matter too much now because the base value is so low. So 20% of 100 is only, well, no, even that's 20. So I don't really get it. How could that be 20%? Wait a second. 20% increased maximum energy shield. 10% faster recharge rate. We've gotten like 10 and 20% like so many times already. Lionized standard. No honor without sacrifice. Oh, for the first time without voice acting. Okay. It's very dramatic, slow scrolling text. Yeah, I don't have any actual mobility moves like a heroic lead type of thing that maybe a melee class would get to make up for its shitty. Maybe that is the point. You don't get any mobility moves because they know you're already so broken with just being able to kite and run away and stuff. Use some of these old dead bodies that you leave left over. Pretty important. They're making a good point of giving a lot of these enemies exactly that, though. Because that's the last thing you want, is just being able to kite without any worry of potentially getting hit. It's not like them hitting you is just going to one-shot you or something, but... And ranged enemies are kind of a non-factor in that, but just like... any kind of speed or... Yeah, the bone wheels are a good example, but they're not really doing too much to me. Here we go, little mini-boss. Sometimes I'll summon them even if I already have 3, just because... I guess I only have 1 now. That's pretty rare. 2, 3. I want something that's going to make it so I can have as many as I want. Literally infinite. But then that would be kind of broken because they really will last forever. It's not like they're on a timer. Once again, AoE... They're actually doing exactly what I said they should do. Have a lot of AoE hazards that you have to avoid, like a skill shot. And have a lot of mobility for the enemies. Almost like I made this game or something, but they're addressing some of the core problems with a lot of the other ones. Although now I'm kind of craving a different ability than just the fire thing. I gotta maybe look at these gems a bit more. Let's see, can I actually switch one of these out? I don't feel like I have any that are actually going to give me just a different spell, though. Grants 2 passive respec points. So that means I can do them in here. 2 refund points left. Refund passives. I guess I don't really care to do it right now. Like, the way you learn spells here is kind of unconventional. You're not just doing it as you level up. You have to get it from a gem and then keep leveling up the gem. Which in the late game is not a big deal. Obviously, you can just power level them up, but at this stage, you just gotta wait for one to drop, I guess. Or you'll get it from some kind of quest, I'm sure. Jesus Christ, dude. Imagine all those hit you at once. Not really iframes as much here, so you might actually be in a lot of trouble. That's what the shield is for. So as soon as the shield's gone, I'm just out of there. Go ahead and hit 3 and just run for your life. Orb of Transmutation. They are starting to have shields more and more often. Oh, I didn't even know there was a boss there. I guess it makes sense considering the ridiculous number of enemies around. Okay, we gotta watch that. How often is he gonna do it here? He's focused on them now. Let's see how quickly he's gonna finish them off at least. Nice little AoE there. That felt like it should have hit me actually, somehow it didn't. Yeah. Because like, the problem with the clicking aspect in all these games is you're clicking them to attack them, but then you're also clicking to move away. So like you know, you go in and then you jerk out and then you go in again. It shouldn't be on the same keybind, but somehow none of these games ever address that. You pretty much milked Fireball as much as you can. You're either going to have to support it with a support gem or try something else. You can buy skill gems from the NPCs in town. Looks like your zombie gem is leveled up enough to get a +1 to zombies. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting it. It does that. Unleashes a Fireball. Raises a zombie minion. You have 4. Yeah. Typically, it's recommended that you only switch base attack to move only. Yeah, I think that's what it is now. Or I guess you could do it on middle mouse because I'm not really using that for anything. Like it is the zombie, but I'm not really using it as the keybind. If you click on the hotbar left, you can select whatever skill you want for left click. Yeah, I guess I could make them 2 different things, but it would still feel, I think, the same way. Like, maybe not. Like, what if I do... I'll try it on middle mouse, maybe. Like, I get why they do that, but it's just a little bit tricky sometimes. No, and it's actually still happening. Actually, I shouldn't mess with it because now I'm so used to it. Let's just play it safe. I need like a little blink or a teleport move, but that'd be more like a wizard thing. There's the bone wheel moment. But why do I feel like I'm invincible there? They're not even hurting me. Okay, a little bit nerve-wracking without the zombies to help me. They don't seem to really do much damage with that. The Prisoner's Gate. This is quite a long track. This must be almost just the end of Act 1 right here. Return to town for assistance. Was that a warning? It's telling me not to do this without getting assistance from town. Well, I guess I could do that now. I wonder why it's saying that. You can earn a personal hideout by completing a certain quest in Act 2.
The tale of Brutus was a popular one in the schools of Theopolis, taught in the hopes of deterring students from ambitions not condoned by the Templar. Brutus was warden of Axiom Prison and one of the most feared men in the Eternal Empire. But there the histories end. And the myth begins, with Brutus commissioning a witch to transform him in a mad attempt at immortality. A moment of hubris that didn't end well for anyone. If it's true, then Brutus has my pity. Some of us pay too dearly for our mistakes. Yet if you insist on learning from your own mistakes, then please, take one of these. You might need it.
Added lightning damage support, minion damage support, Void manipulation support. Supported skills deal 20% chaos damage. How about just a new ability, period? These are all just support things. Skill that hits enemies or inflict. I love those. Just anything that hits enemies. That's great. Support skills which create minions. Which minions supported take 40% of their maximum life as fire damage per second. Minions from supported skills. What? They take it. Minions from supported deal 19 damage. And this is supported skills deal 15% more damage over time. Minions deal 25% more damage. Have 25% maximum life. I guess I can put this in some other piece of my gear. And okay, we just got the one. Let's teleport back to that. Or wait, there must be other people to talk to.
There's a fine line between man and monster. Brutus, the warden of Axiom Prison, he crossed that line long ago. A big lad, and as you know from Hillock, big lads are slow. Hit and run, that's the way to cut them down to size. Unless there's thaumaturgy involved, then forget the hitting bit, just run.
Running is our specialty.
Now that you've drained that passage, best I warn you about something. I was running down a wounded rower one night's eve when I glimpsed something in that waterlogged cavern. Looked a bit like a sand spitter, only the size of a bloody ox. I reckon it's nesting down in those flooded depths somewhere. If you're going that way, then do us a favor. Spill the old shield crab's guts before it gets hungry and comes looking for us.
Just so you know, when your base attack is not better than the fireball, add your fireball skill automatically defaults to your base attack skill if and when you do run out of mana, so your base attack doesn't just serve any function, then being on your hotbar. Support skills do have to be linked to skill gems to have an effect. Oh, so you'd have to put it in like the same one. Frost Bomb. Oh, this sounds like an ability though. Creates a crystal that pulses with an orb. I should try to do a different one just for the sake of it. Orb of Storms, Raging. Oh, that's why I did the Raging Spirit instead of what could have potentially been a different ability. And deals spell damage to enemies around the corpse. Detonate Dead, Corpse Explosion, Classic. 17 dex. I can't even use that one though. Flame Wall. Create a wall for a duration which deals burning damage to everything in the area. Vile Cognition, dealing chaos damage over time. Summons a short-lived flaming skull that rushes at nearby enemies and attacks them rapidly. Casting time. Well, this is still an ability, I guess, that you have to do. Quest complete. Okay, that's at least cool. I ask and I receive. So that'll be W. Short-lived flaming skull that rushes at nearby enemies, attacks them rapidly. They will not directly engage these spirits, and you can pass through them.
Farewell.
Yeah, minion support will not support your zombies unless they're linked in the same gear. Okay, I guess it doesn't really have... Or maybe these should be in like two separate ones. Because there's no reason why this has to be in this... I don't think. Because yeah, even though I put that in my helmet, you can still do it as a spell. Travel to the flooded depths. Travel to prison. Prisoner's Gate. What was the flooded depths again? Whatever. If we run across it, we'll just do it. A lot of cool cosmetics that you get to see in town. Supposed to psychologically maybe make you want to... Yeah, why did it say go back to town to get assistance? I guess Brutus will be the last boss of Act 1. Maybe that's what they're setting up for, because they've talked about him quite a bit. They got to remember to try this. W. And they're not going to kill it, so it'll just last as long as it lasts. We got to keep this count up to 4. Ghoul up the ice. They should be... Fire should be super effective on them then. I gotta spam the potions a bit more effectively because there's no downside of doing it. You're just constantly gonna get it back. And I'm not using really 3 as much, but whenever I feel like I'm under threat, at least I should. You can't be too eager to jump into the next instance of combat. You can always wait a second. Although the only thing you're really waiting for is mana. Or maybe your shield too. Can also be one of the problems with the camera perspective is you can't see like certain little parts of rooms. There's a lot of blind spots. But I guess they designed it in such a way that there won't be important things in those spots usually. But there'll be some like lever that you get stuck on for fucking 10 hours. Or like there must be a way to rotate the camera angle too. Get them stuck in the doorway there. I don't really have any crowd control stuff myself. That's really gonna like stun an area of enemies. That might be more like a wizard thing, or I'm sure I'll get some options later. I don't even know how much these abilities are really tied to your class. Speaking of crowd control and stuns, this guy wants to show me up. Everything is driftwood. I've gotten like 1,000,000 of those driftwood scepters or wands or whatever else. You should also never go too far in the room that you're going to back yourself into a corner. Stay in the doorway. It's almost like a Castlevania trope. Like, oh, in Castlevania, the whole game is Dracula's castle, right? And you just go through different areas within it. So that's almost how some of these games started. But then it was such a mind-blowing thing. Like Order of Ecclesia actually lets you go out into the overworld and actually go in the forest and stuff before you get to Dracula's castle, which is just like the final level, which was kind of a surprise actually, because they kind of make it seem like the game's over before that. So like even being able to go out in the overworld here feels kind of refreshing. Like, oh my goodness, you can actually do that. There actually is an overworld besides just going down into the depths all the time, which I'm sure the sequels do anyway. Diablo 2 and 3, but in fact everybody loves Diablo 2 so much, which I've never played at all. I mean, I say that like I've played Diablo 1 a ton. I've played it literally twice just for that one 2016 introduction to the format, and then obviously affiliate sort of re-celebration when I came back to streaming last year. What was his name? Negligence? Oh, Night Slice, the Brain Eater. I'm dyslexic. I neglected to read it properly. This guy doesn't seem to be doing hardly any damage at all. And as soon as I mock that, something's going to come along that just absolutely wrecks me. Okay, you should never let the mana thing run out completely, but... 3, 4, they are kind of dying a bit more now, or at least I'm noticing because I'm more paranoid about the count, the 4th count. Necromancer, of course, it's only fitting that these would be the strongest enemies in the game because the whole name of the game is... Like, it really is a twofold thing. The fact that there's more enemies means that you have more options to revive stuff, but it also means that, it benefits you more to summon stuff, because then it's going to act as a tank against all the crazy stuff that's coming after you. Dangerous Errands, activate a shrine complete. This game was originally based off Diablo 2. Press Z. Goat's Horn. Let's get rid of one of these. Wand, physical damage 9 to 16, unidentified. Guess that could be an upgrade for later. Nice spooky music. Sanctum Archives for the 1,000,000th time. Really desperately wants me to do that, probably because it knows that's going to kill me. Wants me to try another class after all. Let's see what we have here. Oh shit, you don't need to figure out where to go. The enemies will come to you. Strongbox, guarded by 3 packs of monsters unidentified. Shit. Yeah, see, that's exactly the bait moment getting trapped in the room, because there is kind of collision where you can get trapped. That would be the best way to die, or best way for them to have a chance to kill you. Help page unlocked. Special chests known as strong boxes can be found. Unlike ordinary chests, they are protected by monsters must be defeated before it will relinquish its treasures. Although they're not technically items, they do share some special traits. So basically just kill the 3 guardians, assuming this is something I actually have to do to progress in the story and not just a really good item. And unless the gear is so over the top like that too, you won't be able to really appreciate it too much from this perspective. But that's also a first-person game argument that you don't get to see it on your own character. You gotta use the flaming skull a bit more. Doing it like 50 times in a row. No cooldown or anything to worry about. Oh, I'm just totally strapped on mana. I assume it's doing good, but it's kind of hard to measure the values too amid all the chaos going on. It could be doing 0 damage for all I know, and I might not even notice. 20% mana regen, 6% shield. Get 2 refund points if I want to respec something. Solo self found. Strong boxes contain rares, which is important for leveling and SSF. Chain boots seems like an upgrade. Although anything without a gem slot is just garbage. Like, why would you ever want that, considering gems are like the whole most important core mechanic in the game? Okay, what is this? Night Witch the Bone Crusher. Night Wither. Go ahead and do the skulls. Seems like it maybe doesn't take up a whole lot of mana. Look at how you can just spam it. It does seem to be stacking too. That can just be your main new ability. At least the fireball takes up a little bit more mana. But yeah, you can almost just spam those the whole time and not worry about left click at all. If it's on like the same GCD and whatnot.
In the court of the goddess, every man and woman is deemed worthy of redemption. Though you might be shackled by the tribulations of the past, the trials ahead offer you both freedom and glory. The future is yours if you're bold enough to reach out for it.
There's no gold. It's possible to craft sockets and links on gear. Oh, so what am I getting when I'm selling stuff? Yeah, I was kind of wondering that. So I'm just selling it to them for free? Cosmetics. There must be some base inventory. Or I mean base currency. If you find a great item without sockets, you can give it sockets. Oh shit, we're gonna die to a trap now. Locked door. Well, I'm sure they're not going to just one-shot you like that over nothing. The Lord's Labyrinth. Solve all the trials of ascendancy to access the Lord's Labyrinth. All money is crafting, basic and exotic currency. Yeah, let's see what we have to do here. A little puzzle solving. Go kill the enemy so you can kill more enemies. But that would confuse the shit out of players of these games because they're not really in that mindset when they're playing these games. You have to solve a puzzle. Let's just see where we could potentially keep going in any direction. Solve the trial of ascendancy in this area. Travel to the flooded depths, explore the prison and kill Brutus. Travel to the prisoner's gate. I think I'm actually falling in love with W more, or at least I want to try it. Let's try to figure out exactly how much it does. It's just so non-mana consumptive. You could almost replace that with left click altogether, but it doesn't really matter. It's like you're always doing left click anyway just to move, so it doesn't matter what you put there. And it does do some kind of residual AoE damage. 5 mana, 0.5 second cast time. Trials of Ascendancy can upgrade a witch to necromancer, occultist, elementalist. Oh, cool. I didn't know there were upgraded classes like that.
Too much
A good old Fire Emblem mechanic. It kind of blows your mind the first time you see it. Like, oh, you get to... And you don't even have to get to max level to do it. You can just use like a crest or something. Let's see. We didn't go here, apparently. So can we keep going somewhere from this? Large mana flask. Now, this would be... actually a main slot. That's kind of a big deal. Has 0 charges currently. Hey Forbius, thanks for the follow. Eventually, you'll likely either unbind your left click as an attacker, make it move only, or make it a skill that you can just constantly trigger that also allows you to move. Yeah, probably like a buff or something would be good. Or even like something... Can you put a mana potion on your thing? Considering that I spam them so much, I guess I wouldn't want to do that for that one because it only has 2 charges, but... Yeah, I'd probably underutilize the potion so much. I really just need one that tops off my shield. That would seriously make me invincible. I'm buying that shit to left click. Okay, this is the way out. I guess I didn't go up at all. I guess there were just no enemies in those first 2 rooms. They're for crafting orbs for flask management. What, just a dead end? Huh. Can't crawl through little hole. Oh, here we go. No, also a dead end. There's really nothing at the top here at all. Find big old Brutus here. He's gonna be slow like that first guy we killed. I forget his name now. Holgoth or something. That's how we earned our stripes in town. Everybody's just so upset, impressed with us doing that. He can't stop bringing it up. All my utility flasks use themselves when they reach full. Poor man's mage blood. I always love like if they apply a multiplayer endgame mindset to a single player game, like where they give you an infinite amount of stuff to do. I feel like more games should do that because there's no downside. That doesn't mean they have to castrate the campaign to do it. That's why like Radiant quests are such a powerful thing in Skyrim or something like that. You can just literally do the college library quest forever, like I've done for hundreds of hours. I've probably done more of that than actually playing the game because it's basically the same thing. It'll just take you to a place and let you, you know, some random location in the world that you haven't been to in a while. The upper prison. Here we go. Yeah, it almost confuses you with all these optional objectives. Oh, do the ascendancy thing or this or that. Like, do I have to do that to progress in the main mission? Obviously not, but... Here, spam W a little more. Let's see how much that's actually doing. Oh, you can have like 4 to 5 of those as well, but they don't last so long, so I guess it doesn't matter. It's just part of the tracker there. Phantasm summon. Oh yeah, we have a 3rd summon too, but those I barely am even noticing. Or they must not be doing very much. But the more things, the better. The lower prison. But that's not where I came from. Why would I want to go back? Maybe this will just be where the boss is, so that could be a shortcut back out. That's what I love about PoE. The endgame is so fun and super grind-worthy. I feel like complex games, this game is exactly that. Certainly, you could tell that as soon as you press P for the first time and look at the ridiculous number of skills on the menu. That is a classic moment. I don't know how much of that's been added over time. I'm sure it didn't look like that originally. Or it could just be that since it is shared between all the classes, if you split them up into, you know, like every class only has like one section of that, it wouldn't look maybe quite as impressive, but still. Or not even 4, it's 6 classes. The duelist and the witch look kind of like a couple there in the corner. I don't know why they were spaced out like that. And they look kind of just different too. they look more like ordinary people than like some old-timey fantasy characters. They might have been added later. And those original might be the first 4. Maybe that's what they're trying to show. Okay, wait for the shield, do the flaming skulls. I hear you like summoning stuff, so we use a summon to kill stuff to be able to summon more stuff from the corpses of what we just killed. Is what the W is, because it does count as part of that. Later on, you use programs such as Path of Building to help you theory craft your build without wasting currency, but that comes later on. I'm not really the type to do stuff like that, though, anyway. Like, I never net deck in card games and stuff. So 4 does what exactly? It is another mana potion. 90 mana over 4 seconds, 8 charges. So it's just better than that. We just got that from a random drop too. And it might be one of those things I'm desensitized to, like I won't pick it up. Because, oh, we see those all the time, we don't really need any more. But here it's actually like a permanent item. At least that guy didn't body block me. I gotta use 4 instead of 5, or just spam both. There's really no excuse for dying either. When you have all these fucking resources, even in the middle of combat, they're gonna just keep giving it to you. Don't get locked into a dead end, which I'm doing right now. I haven't used a health potion actually in a while, not to jinx myself. Like, I keep forgetting to actually use the summon now, because I'm doing W so much. You gotta have these guys more to tank. It's not about them doing damage. They're gonna just mix up whatever's happening. Diabloist. What a reference moment. It's the same character model as a necromancer though, so it doesn't really matter what you call it. Diabloist, really, dude. They're obviously doing that in a very tongue-in-cheek way. Velvet slippers.
Too much clutter.
That's where you need some kind of quick thing to get out of there, right? Because that's like a status effect, which might castrate your shield a little bit. Anything that does damage over time. You have to like not take damage for a while for it to start to recharge. PoE has poor in-game build analysis, so even homegrown builds use Path of Building, test synergies, and plan respecs, etc. Is that how they come up with the overpowered PvP builds that kill you in 0.5 seconds? Yeah, see how long I last in a permadeath PvP setting? That's always not very fun, although I have done it in some of those kind of games that you wouldn't normally associate it with. Mana, I always forget that. Okay, I gotta definitely get more of the summons out there. I don't know what's even happening. It looks like they're fighting each other. That's not... Oh, there is no limit even on those. Axiom from... Yeah, see, what would really screw you over is if you fight a few enemies, like 3 or 4 very strong enemies, so you won't constantly be able to resummon the stuff. But that's just not the nature of the game. That'll be the one encounter that hard counters you, though, as a necromancer or a witch. You can send your class into another class. Medium, life, flash. So these are probably just going to be, you know, replacements of my health potions, I would assume. Very tiny. Wait, where'd it go? Oh, here. It starts off empty, which is a small price to pay. And they're still fighting while I'm doing all that. Not a very good decision. I almost don't even want to use Fireball as much anymore. All these status effects could create... Oh, it's because it's a boss, obviously. Always something that summons an infinite amount of stuff. You could actually just empty that out now and then keep the other one in reserve. So anytime you need health and stuff, just use one. I didn't really need to use it there at all, though. Damn Q a little bit. Get back up to 4. Kill this old Sawbones dude. Get through his stupid shield. You can kind of just face tank the debuff, even though I don't like to do that. Okay, get out of there. I probably won't have to use that one as much. I don't even know if it stacks the effect as you do it twice. It must, because it went up so quickly, but these can be the tough moments, like where, you know, they keep summoning something so you're afraid to go in and hit them, but then if you don't hit them, it's almost like one of those strategic boss moments. Like, you go and you hit them once, and then you worry about the ads, and then you hit them once, like just when there's an opening. You don't have to try to just focus fire them too much. If you like PvP, I will admit this game kind of sucks at it. That is what most people have been saying. If you become desperate for health or mana flask, you can trade 3 of the same one for an upgrade to the next tier. That's cool. So the other one should still be here. So yeah, you could save it for that. I think 2 of each and then 1 utility one could be good. So like the, you know, 3 for a speed purpose. Leather scale boots. I'm really not doing a very good job of caring about the inventory items. As much as I mock that you get an upgrade every 5 seconds, I'm not using the upgrade. Presumably that I've had the opportunity to. Like, after I beat an act, I'll do a once over or something. Or it's better just to do it in a shop in town. Yeah, you don't want to stop in the middle of a dungeon. Actually, Anthem has an interesting design choice that does that, like where you can't look at your gear. Like, not only can you not change it, but you can't even look at it when you're on a mission. Whoa, shambles. So you have to commit going into an area.
Oops, clumsy me.
What? What's clumsy you? What, like she maybe killed one of her own things or something? I don't even know what happened there. That wasn't her just running out of mana. Fire arrow quiver.
Too much clutter.
Jesus, these places are pretty big. Yeah, these are like special elite enemies, my favorites. Yeah, a little bit too much going on. So yeah, that's also a very tough thing when they're so fast. And it rushes you down so you can only kite them but so much. Come on, Brutus, where are you? Brutus the Betrayer, how fitting. Okay, level 13. You see, it's almost like they tease you. Oh yeah, try to choose your stat. Try to loot the gear. Try to look at your inventory in the middle of combat, which is every 5 seconds. There'll be something else to fight. So like, why even bother? Increase base mana gen, so I have to get that to get to the next area. Anyone know how to find unique maps? That's what Torchlight 2 did so well, is it allows you to mod stuff so much to the point where you can literally create custom classes. So that gives you like infinite replay value. Plate vest. Always got to get rid of the summoners first, I guess. That's why you inexplicably sometimes just seem to be fighting in one area forever. Diablo hater. Well, that's actually one of my most disliked videos on both of my old channels. Just like me stating the simple preference of why I didn't like Diablo, because I don't like the bird's eye top-down perspective, and I don't like the whole quantity over quality in enemies. But you know, you kind of got to know what you're getting into. They're all like that. And I even use it as my channel art. How ironic, but that's kind of why. Because that was like my first foray into a first playthrough Permadeath series many years ago. I guess they're considered to be difficult too, but I don't know if I can be the judge of that. Like just the style of game in general. Reckoning. Guess we'll look at it after the fight though. Don't loot during combat. 3 packs of monsters. Yeah, I'm missing out on all this good fat loots too, which is probably the #1 thing you shouldn't do if you're trying to stay alive. Onslaught support. Supports any skill that hits enemies. So, I mean, you should put that in any empty slot that I have here, I guess. Let's see. Green. Like here. This, why even worry about it? I don't really even care. Oh, shit. Oh, maybe that's all you have to do, but kind of an awkward position to do it in. Just by trying to open it, you trigger it. I thought it meant you have to go around and find them somewhere in here. Never mind. Pretty cool. Okay, how big is this place exactly? Gotta go to level 3, I guess? Or did I come up from there? Now I forgot. You typically are always going down in these games. Or no, that's not even going down a level. It just happens to be a staircase. Where haven't I been? Is it actually registering that like I'm clicking on the map of where to go? Or is it just doing it? Like, will it go to that room? No, it's just doing it because I'm clicking on the screen underneath it. Blue line represents unexplored. Let's go around. Armor scrap. Look at all the stuff I'm not even bothering to loot. Or maybe it'll sometimes try to path if you do that, but it's obviously way too far away. Wait, you can also just hold it down. This must have been where I came from, I'm pretty sure. Or no, I keep thinking that's like one of the staircases is like a way up or down. Wants me to do that Sanctum thing again. Everywhere you go. We're running a sale on every type of stash tab. That's what everybody's complaining about in chat too. I don't have enough stash tabs. Wow, what a... Or like also that, oh, this game is a casino. Probably hear that conversation every day in there. Morrow rattles. This W seems quite good actually. I'm not even using the fireball anymore. It's so like unmana consumptive too. Yeah, the way to find the way to go. Just find the enemies that you haven't killed yet. Because they don't really respawn in the way that... Now, do I have to choose like a few of these? Or you can just do it for all of them? I feel like I don't see why you wouldn't. Like, it's not really much of a choice. Yeah, you can just do all 4. Wig Spirit Shield. And it just equipped a shield automatically for me without me even having to... I didn't even choose to do it, so I was surprised that I even had one. Or I didn't even necessarily know that the class can use one. If you Google filter blade, need to get an item filter. Armor scraps equals 4 scrolls of wisdom, 16 fragments. Normal items, 1 armor scrap is more valuable than the entire full inventory of normal items. 1 armor scrap. If you Google filter blade, click save and export. You don't need to log in. Click without saving, download the zip of all the strictness. You can sell an armor scrap, an NPC for scrolls of wisdom. Escape option. Then you click that folder button to open up. Okay, I won't do it this time, but maybe in the future. I'm assuming this is actually the end of Act 1, so that could be a good checkpoint. If we kill the sucker Brutus. Let's see. Or that maybe that could be a way that you play. Like, you always just are holding this down and moving, so you never stop except to cast. The Warden's Quarters. Yeah, this must be it. You speak his name, he shall appear. A mirror of Kalandra can drop, or a divine orb. Ask anyone who plays PoE will tell you you need a filter. You could potentially walk past valuable loot. But then that would just be me checking every piece of loot to see whether it's valuable or not. That's half the fun, isn't it? Being able to manually filter it. That's what you're there for as the player.
To the one place where your talents are free to grow and be true.
Piety. Like, they're setting up for a boss fight because there's no enemies everywhere, every 5 steps for once. Taverone's Journal.
Still the Karui barbarians advance upon us. Lionite dead. His legion slaughtered along with every eternal man, woman, and child from Lionite's watch to the foot of our axiom. Should the need arise, we shall retreat through Prisoner's Gate, raising my barricade behind us. Yet our salvation is at hand. Foul times demand heroic deeds, and through my arts our Lord Brutus will arise anew to defend us. May the dry sands quench their thirst with Karui blood when our mighty warden delivers his judgment upon them.
Later on in the game, no, not really. Later on in the game, the entire screen gets filled with loot to the point where you can't screen filter. You'll get walked past millions of items later on. But wouldn't you get used to knowing which ones are going to be valuable? That's what they have Z there for. So in other words, what you're saying is even the people who like the game acknowledge that most of the loot is trivial and it's kind of pointless for them to even have it there. So why not? Why even give it to you in the first place? Kill Brutus. Now, let's see what this is going to be. A true boss fight here. Oh shit, he's showing right away that my little minions aren't going to do shit for me. And I'm not going to have the potion refills and stuff for this. But you do have the shield. Okay, I do have the 3. Destructible environments. I mean, you do have a very large area to go over. Just don't let him get through the shield. Yeah, I can't really even use the Q. So for moments like this, it might not be particularly valuable. Unless there's a lot of random dead corpses just strewn about. Here, I can maybe go back through here because I've kind of lost track of where I can go now. He's not going to heal or anything, so I can just outlast him.
Too much clutter.
Kind of don't like going up as much as going down. Try to learn this layout a little bit. He's about half HP. The incinerator, so fire is clearly the way to go against him. Yeah, this is kind of not the ideal ability to be relying on, but I guess I kind of already predicted that in any sort of boss fight, because you're not gonna, unless the boss fight has a ton of ads, but at least this one doesn't. I feel like a lot of them probably will though, because that's just the nature of the game. Yeah, you can't stop me from having minions summon though too. The W even counts as that. I go a little aggro here. I'm just being okay. Be careful. Yeah, go aggro. 5 seconds later, your shield's gone. What a surprise. Little get over here, death grip type of move. Shit. You can always back yourself into a corner like that. Okay, wait for the shield, wait for the shield. Mana's not really an issue because I'm just running around so much. But you're not going to get these things back because you're not killing anything. Like even your little 3. So it does kind of matter what you go inside with. You can't really seem to avoid that particularly well, the grip, but he doesn't immediately punish you for it. Or it's just very not worth trying to avoid. The prisoner's exit is now open.
Fruit would not have fallen so easily.
If you had been my oh shit, I like that. But actually your creations are falling all the time over here. So that's like a very witch specific line of dialogue. Nobody else would say that. But you filter out the ones that are invaluable. That was a little bit tricky, but
Give Our Lady Piety your absolute support and watch her with absolute scrutiny. There is much to learn from the likes of the Inquisitor, the Umbra, and the Soulless One. I would hate for Piety to feel that she needs shoulder such perilous wisdom alone.
who would think that having less enemies makes it more difficult because you really don't have those guys to hide behind. And I like how quickly and easily he killed the thing at the beginning, like to just show this shit isn't going to work against me. Like he immediately just one-shot the little zombies there. But then if you could keep using their own corpses to resummon them, that would be an endless loop. So you must not be able to do that. You can get by with no loot filter for the first couple acts, and I've used the default loot filter all the way through Act 10. Nice sunny area again, like where we fought the goatmen before. Is that actually the end of of the thing? Oh no, there might be more. Make it to the end of the road. Yeah, I would just certainly be more thorough in the future. I just wasn't really too worried about it at the beginning here, which you presumably should be still. This is a little bit scary, but I guess I could always go back through there because I don't have any of these guys summoned at least. It's always bad when you get back into a corner like this, like when they camped outside the entrance to that flooded gate or whatever, the fetid whatever it was, where I had to actually go back and wait for the thing to reset to be able to do it. Because as soon as you step in there, there are like 50 of them just camping for you. Jester is correct. In the endgame scenarios, loot filter is required. You can crash your computer. Turn on default if you wish and options. So many goddamn goatmen. Most common enemy type in the game so far. Every time I say that, they introduce a new version of it, though. Like the first time I said it, they added the ones with the staves. Okay, I gotta use my mana potions more. I just have like the subconscious resistance to using potions because I'm always such a hoarder and I try to save them. But in this game, you have to do the opposite because you always have such an unlimited amount of them. I basically replaced the fireball with W because it's just so much less mana consumptive. You can spam the shit out of it. Might not be as good for single target purposes though. It does seem like a lot of the things are very dynamic. Like when it comes to, like, I don't know, like would a normal witch be using these exact abilities at this point, or it could be something different because of the gems that they get, or could other classes use some of these? Do seem like the abilities that fit with the class, so maybe they are. I just don't know. The way you come about them with the gems is a little bit unique, to be sure. To reset my old Atlas tree. Which build is tanky and deals damage? I guess the one thing you don't really think of in this kind of game is like a healing class. I don't know if one of those actually would have been, but it almost doesn't seem to matter as much, but it is the kind of pussy play that I might sometimes do. But then you're expected like, oh, you're a support, so you got to play with somebody else and play in a group, so they'll make you a lot more vulnerable yourself. Level up the, what was this again? Onslaught support. Supports any skill that hits enemies. Dynamic is a good description of PoE. I would not personally worry about loot filters, path to building, or awaken. Trade until later on. Enjoy the game for now. Yeah, that's what I feel like. More of an endgame meta type of thing. Although I should probably be more thorough in the next act about actually just looking at what's actually dropping. I have been a little bit, because even though as much as I criticize that aspect, I still am typically pretty thorough when I play these games. I mean, we already killed the main boss, so what could possibly go wrong now? Unless there'll be another surprise boss. Brutus, but Julius Caesar rises from the grave. Cassius. I think Cassius was the last one standing, right? In that whole scenario. Holy shit, but I do like the mobility that that gives us. I gotta use that more when they try to run you down like that. I think it just makes you appreciate at some point how many great free games there are, though. Like, how can you even complain about it? It's fucking free. And the microtransaction element is what it is, like as far as a cosmetic basis, but yeah, at least like Diablo, you actually have to buy. Or Torchlight. Yeah. Oh my god, why is he doing so much damage all of a sudden, dude? Holy fuck. So I talk shit about Brutus being the boss, and this guy wants to upstage him. Jesus Christ. I can't even aim this shit. Oh, I keep forgetting that I have to do that. It's not the summoning that I'm not trying to do because I'm jamming Q, but it's the healing with the potions. It's just not, I'm not wired to do it so often. I'm not a potion abuser, mainly because I'm a potion hoarder instead. Healing free is one hell of a deal. Only pay to win is the sash tabs. Templar that ascended into an Inquisitor, but I cast a spark spell ability. I also have a gladiator that uses a bow, so there's a lot of hybrid type of stuff you can do. Spam the W. It is kind of hard to keep track of even how many. That's probably why they put that there. There's so much shit going on the screen sometimes, not even right now, but just in general, that you can't even really count and keep track of how many you have alive. If you do it when you already have 4, does it overwrite one of them? Because then that'd be obviously counterproductive. Maybe it doesn't do that as a courtesy because it knows people will be doing that, just like button mashing the shit out of it. Getting a little bit too obsessed with Q that I'm even neglecting the, or I mean with the W. Yeah, these guys are a little bit tankier. Yeah, we're fighting all kind of fire enemies too, so I wonder if they have fire resistance. I'm getting hard countered over here. Where did this guy come from? He was just sitting behind me already attacking with the little sparks. Good thing we have plenty of corpses in reserve. But it's not that I can never summon because of corpses, it's always because of mana. I keep forgetting that. Jesus Christ, these guys have so much health. Okay. You don't want to get caught out in a position like that, despite how resilient the shield can be. Yeah, let's see if we try to do it again. Oh, it does stop that. Because, see, otherwise I'd be spam summoning them even when I have 4 and just wasting mana and overriding them when I don't need to. But I guess it would be effectively healing one of them if it was about to die or something. Those little hops are a little bit scary. Heroic leap. You can't even get after the destination. Like, we're just trying to get to the next area now, Act 2. But they can't even let you go in peace. You gotta be a million fucking enemies everywhere you look. Artisan okay, I forget that they spawn in. This is the kind of thing you probably shouldn't even bother doing because it's not like I'm caring too much about the loot right now anyway, but go ahead and do our sprint back, go summon stuff. But yeah, I think I've lost a little bit of respect for them just in terms of like a boss fight. You shouldn't really worry about, or like if you really want to meta it, you could switch around your sockets before the boss fight to an ability that's better for single target scenarios. But then again, I expect that most boss fights will have ads with them. That might have just been an exception. It almost seems like it was meant to counter the degenerate cheese that I was doing. Imagine if it had like dynamic boss encounters, like, oh, like whatever, when people say alien isolation, adaptive AI. We know you've been abusing the fucking summon mechanic the whole playthrough, so let's see what you do without it. Or whatever it is that you're using the most. But then people would meta game that too and say, oh, I'll deliberately use an ability that's not good just so that they play into that more. That was the whole selling point that they tried to make with Alien Isolation, that supposedly it had adaptive AI. Man, they're really a glutton for this, having us kill the goat man. Pretty good enemy variety though, at least in terms of visuals, although you can't tell what they're doing half the time because it's over too quick. That's why those purple ones are at least nice as like a little elite version with more health and stuff. And of course the little mini bosses and bosses and stuff are pretty good. Go ahead and spam the shit out of this. Yeah. Assault Shrieker. You can barely get time to even read the name sometimes of what it is that you're killing. Okay, we have 0 of them now. Oh no, 1 of them. It doesn't put the number unless you have 2+. Huh. Somehow I thought we'd just be done with the area after that, or with the act, I mean. Burning Remote Gulch of Smothering. Monsters deal 35% extra damage, as fire players have 20% less recovery rate of life. As fire players. Oh no, damage as fire. Players deal 20. Okay, it's not connected. An energy shield. 20%. Like, I don't have to do that, I don't think. That might just be some bonus thing. Travel to the Flooded Depths. Travel to Lion's Eye Watch. Find another way to the forest. Not that I'm scared of it, of course, but there's been a lot of bonus stuff that we don't really have to worry about. When you get caught out without the summons, it can be a little tricky. And in fact, that's why it's significant that it says, oh, the W doesn't get targeted by enemies. It would almost be a good thing if they got targeted because it would distract them and tank, and they only last like a second anyway, so it doesn't matter. I have like a million corpses, but I'm just being lazy about summoning these now. Brutus isn't the Act 1 boss. Oh, really? Huh, the way they set it up almost made it seem like it too, with just how that whole area was so epic and all to himself.
Too much clutter.
Let's see. Intelligence, we've gotten from all the way through just on the full shield degenerate build. Either shields or summons. Those are the 2 things that I've kind of prioritized for survivability, especially because, I mean, the real reason for the summons isn't for them to do damage, but it's for them to tank for you. Or like that would be the perfect type of summon. Something that you summon and then it explodes when it dies as like a suicide attack, because you're just doing it to, and that you can use its own corpse to resummon it. The ultimate build. And that it full heals you when it dies, but that would be so fucking broken too. Each one too. Yeah, and if you can make broken builds in PvP, right, it shouldn't be that hard to figure out that you can make broken builds in PvE, so why? But then something must happen where they either keep scaling stuff so that it becomes I don't know, so that it never becomes too easy or something. In the endgame context, anyway. Jesus Christ, man. I just hate those moments where I'm standing still like that. And I think I'm still using left click way too much. Like, there's no reason to really do it. I should probably unbind that, but I'm just so used to it. Become the very thing I swore to destroy. You didn't even seem like you had to aggro that. It was just because I went over to the left side there. It's not like there's anything that ever says, like, oh, you have to kill, or at least normally, you have to kill every enemy in the area to progress. A lot of it could be skippable. In fact, there might even be some speedrunner thing, right, where you just run past stuff. You don't even worry about killing it, and there's just some way to do that. Prioritize speed over damage or even survivability. Or I guess because I see that out of the corner of my eye. Oh, I have 6 of those things summoned, but that's not actually the thing I want to be summoned. Shit, I'm getting kind of stuck there. Okay, we have 4 of them now. Is there even a limit to these? I feel like it usually caps out around 8. 7 or 8. You can't even click on those things. It's like they're doing it like they're linking it. Maybe that's what you need some kind of add-on for that, of course, everybody probably has and takes for granted. The ship graveyard. What is this?
Sirens appear to be dining well.
You can't be damaged, probably just because you zone in. What is, let me look at that map thing again. Or like, give me a way. Oh, I'll just use a town scroll portal, which I surely must have. Or because I haven't been picking them up. Maybe not. Oh no, I still do have a stack of them. I'm surprised I haven't gotten more actually though. Just from whatever. I guess I haven't been looting anything at all ever. So what do I expect? Yeah, that is like a completionist's nightmare because it's always about, oh, I gotta look at every item in such great detail, let alone look at them at all.
Son, death is welcomed with open arms. Did you end Brutus's suffering out of avarice or mercy? Only you know the answer to that one. Merveil dwells in the caves beyond the wrecks, at the head of Siren's Cove. Leave her be, and we can only hope that she continues to return the favor.
Heidi Rosa Roas Bestel Park Lay is the guy over there. May as well just sell some of this shit. Well, I'll just pretend like Brutus is the Act 1 final boss then. That's good enough for now. Trade canceled. Seriously playing. At least I like the fact that PvP isn't the big thing that people are after in this game. But I'm surprised that they are so satisfied for such long periods of time with PvE and they don't get bored of it. I don't know exactly how the endgame system works, like with respect to there must be some kind of really good scaling system where it keeps scaling up to your power level or your gear or whatever. How do you even see that thing that shows you here? I can't believe Act 1 is even that long, and they're saying the campaign is short. It's only 10% of the... Well, not really that it's short, but it's such a small percentage of the content really in the game. Yeah. Let's make a melee character just to see... Level 14, just to see how shitty they are. I'm actually kind of curious. I'll just do like... How long was the intro? I guess it wasn't too long before we fight stuff.
Enough to face the land of the damned, Marauder. We offered you truth, yet still you clasped your superstitious lies.
Hardcore characters, please. This won't actually count as anything. Like, even if I die. Not that I will. I just want to see what kind of shitty... Oh, but I guess I won't get an ability for a certain amount of time anyway, so... I wonder how exiting during combat and stuff works, too. You probably shouldn't be able to. Or even, like, the always online aspect of it. Sanctum League, Hardcore League. I don't even... It doesn't matter. Unless it doesn't make it more difficult, right? Like, it just means that if you die, you get knocked out of this and that. I don't think it's really a difficulty setting. Want me to talk about the endgame? I mean, sure, you can. It doesn't really matter. It'll be a long time before I get there anyway. I just hope that didn't make it easier somehow. But what really made it easier was the class choice itself. What were the classes again? Becomes a standard character. Yeah, see, it doesn't say that. It makes it like enemies do more damage and stuff. So this is the mage. This is like a rogue. This is like a warrior. This is a hunter. And then this is the duelist, which I imagine is like maybe a little hybrid mix of multiple things. And then this is just in its own world.
To be swift and strong. What did you do?
It doesn't really tell you anything about them.
You squandered them on self-indulgence.
Well, through interpretation, it kind of does.
Your path inked in the blood of gratuity.
But nothing here really made you think that they're going to summon stuff.
And darkness and depravity.
But I mean, obviously this one isn't going to be like that. Templar is like the mage.
And the order of the Templar.
This is a pretty unique way to start it. So that's what they mean by Path of Exile. I finally know. Is that you get exiled at the beginning and they can't stop talking shit to you about all the horrible things you've done in the past. Just wait till you see the future. Yeah, I don't feel like this conditions are really that relevant to me right now. Because that's more like endgame considerations. The endgame scales and is compartmentalized every 3-4 months. They have a league which introduces a mechanic, various builds, strength and weaknesses, speed, tankiness, AoE, single target, etc. That makes sense. Ziz Sanctum HCSSF. Class Gauntlet. Running now. It's really just that simple too. The title screen is the character creation, like regardless. Or maybe it's only showing that because that's what I just last saw. Like what if I go inside and exit? I think that is just the title screen. Yeah, it just always shows that. Different builds are stronger or weaker doing the various mechanics. You have to constantly be metagaming and adjusting. It is certainly interesting. Like the way that it almost sounds like a meta that you would normally see in a card game or something like that, where everybody's going to be using the same thing, but then it's constantly being pulled out from under them to keep it interesting. Channel count. The character good at Sanctum might be very poor in Heist. And even the seasons are like the same lengths, like 3 to 4 months. Okay, that was pretty good.